Saturday night footy from the MCG on ABC Sport. It's the first place Geelong taking on Melbourne in fourth position. The Cats are still unbeaten through 7 rounds, taking on Melbourne at the MCG for the first time in 3 years. And these two sides have delivered thrillers over the journey. I think after the Siren Classics with Max Gawn and Zach Toohey kicking the winners. The two captains have gathered in the middle of the MCG. And in a moment's time, we will have a pause to make a stand against gender-based violence. Matt Clinch and Joel Peterson to call the action with you tonight on ABC Sport. Rory Campbell is down on the boundary. Karen Peterson and Nathan Burke are your experts on ABC Sport. So the Melbourne players and the Geelong players alongside the coaching staff and the umpires gathering in the middle of the MCG. Before each game this weekend, players, coaches and umpires will come together and make a stand against gender-based violence. Let's take you into the middle of the MCG.
Lives have been tragically cut short due to violence. The football world is united as we come together to say enough is enough and this must stop. Behind every death is a woman who's lived and a woman who has loved. When it comes to violence against women, the only acceptable figure is 0. We remember all the women who have been killed in gender-based violence and stand in solidarity in committing to doing more to stop this community-wide problem. Please pause for a moment as we pay our respects and join in a silent tribute to those women who have lost their lives. Thank you.
So two sides gathering in the middle of the MCG ahead of this round 8 clash between Geelong and Melbourne. 4 women a week murdered in Australia, and following the government initiative during the week to try and make a statement, the AFL has played their part in the lead up to every match. Joel Peterson to call the action alongside me. Welcome to you, Joel.
Absolute blockbuster tonight, Clinchy. Glorious night in Melbourne. The walk across the bridge here to the MCG. Plenty of footy fans coming in, and why wouldn't they be excited about what they're set to see?
Australian Football Hall of Fame member, the St Kilda champion Nathan Burke is with you for a Saturday night. Welcome to you, Burkie.
Hello, Clinchy and Joel, Kez. Yeah, great to be here. Just thinking, isn't this a magnificent place? We talk a lot about Adelaide Oval being a wonderful stadium and the Perth Stadium being a wonderful stadium, but none of them have a patch on this place. Well, 80,000 here last night. We're going to have probably 50, 60 again here tonight. This is a wonderful place to be right now.
And 3-time All-Australian, the Carlton captain of the AFLW, Kez Peterson, is with you tonight. Welcome, Kez. So many matchups to look forward to tonight.
G'day, Clinchy. Yes, both ends of the ground and obviously through the middle. We know of the power of the midfield through for Melbourne rather, and obviously who's going to play on Jeremy Cameron, or is Melbourne going to rely on their system? It's going to be really intriguing to see what happens tonight. Stephen May pays his 100th game for the Demons tonight as he makes his way down to the punt road end. Geelong are heading to that end in the opening quarter, and the stage is set. Will the Demons put an end to Geelong's unbeaten run tonight? It's all in readiness on ABC Sport. Here's Joel Peterson to kick things off.
They're two of the oldest clubs in the land. They're two of the best sides in the competition in 2024. Bounce down in the middle. Stanley and Gawn get us underway. Young Caleb Windsor with a big task standing next to Jeremy Cameron here on the near side wing. Ball bubbles around in the middle. Petrarca's got a play at it. Oliver tries to spin through the Blitzar's tackle. Somehow forced the handball forward. Pickett got caught in a crunching tackle in the centre. Max Holmes wasn't letting him go. The Demons attacking to the city end here in the opening term. Again, the two rucks go at it. Gawn this time decisively. Gary some distance for the Demons. Petrarca a play at it. Windsor pokes it inside the 50 onto the chest of Fridge. It was an ugly footy inside the arc, and Bailey Fridge playing in front, clutched it to his chest. He's got a shot from 40 out.
Well, early on in these really tight games, and this is going to be a really tight game for most of it, you just got to get the ball on your foot and bang it forward. Fritsch, as you call Joel, playing in front. Colin Jasny gave him a good 2 or 3 metres, and he's going to rue that.
Multiple goals in 6 of his 7 games so far this season, Bailey Fritsch. For the perfect start for Melbourne, the kick is true. And he turns around to the members and pumps the fist immediately. Dream start for the Demons. They're on the board through just over a minute here at the MCG.
Because it's that modern day defending again, where you guard space and you give yourself an opportunity to actually win the ball yourself, and that's what Colin Jasny did. He stood 2 or 3 metres behind Bailey Fritsch, and it was just a quick throw on the boot out of the middle. Fritsch dives forward and gets himself on the scoreboard very, very early.
He didn't need to do that either, because De Koning was actually a spare behind the ball. It happened through the stoppage where Geelong manufactured a spare. So Colin Jasny probably needed to play in front on that occasion, but Fritsch was good enough to hold space. And as you said, those quick dump kick forwards, it's going to happen quickly through this beginning of the game.
Opening goal the way of the Demons as Tanner Bruin gets a clearance for the Cats. Kicks up towards Ollie Henry at half forward. Can't take the mark. Oliver comes in and wins a big free kick, holding the ball. Here's the immediate call as he comes charging in to support Jack Viney. The former Melbourne captain looks out towards Gawn on the members' wing. He reaches up in front of Jeremy Cameron to take the mark. In front of the 2 benches, right in the boundary tonight for us is Rory Campbell. Welcome to you, Rory.
Thanks, team. It's an absolute beauty of a night for footy this evening. As far as the wind goes, not a breath of air around. I am looking at the grass. There is a little bit of dew around. We'll see if that has an influence on the game as the night unfolds.
Max Gawn turns it over straight to his opposing ruckman in Reece Stanley, who takes the mark. Left half back for the Cats, goes back to De Koning, who chips it over the head of Colin Jasny. Has enough time to race after it with 15 metres on Bailey Fritsch. Looks up to right half back, and Jack Henry takes the mark. Melbourne the opening goal through 3 minutes.
Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Henry just waits for things to unfold in front of him from right half back. Sends a long kick up the line, so he works his way in front of McPhee. The Demon did the roving, handball into traffic, taken away by Chandler for Melbourne. Kick up the outer side wing, back to Henry. And Jack Henry positioned himself well. Dangerous kick inboard, just skewed off the instep a little bit. Found Mitch Duncan eventually. He whips it across the centre of the ground aggressively. Cameron and Gawn, they run into each other. Neither touch the footy. Bounces its way to Blitzarves in front of the interchange gates. He goes with a bounce through the AFL logo. Left peg inside the 50. Stanley almost couldn't mark. Stengel the crumb, the snap and the goal. Nothing less than you'd expect from Tyson Stengel. And the Cats go end to end to get their first of the night. 4 minutes played in the opening term. 1 straight 6 apiece on ABC Sport.
What a start to the game. It's been fast and furious. Both teams, or particularly Geelong on that occasion, wanting to switch the play, and it's a bit of a dangerous kick in the end. Max Gawn nearly broke it up on Melbourne's half forward, but it was good enough to get over the top. And Blitzarves, you love to see that, just the way he runs and bounces and creates, breaking the line. And for Stengel to be front and centre like that, Melbourne defenders just got caught on the goal sides of the contest, and when Stanley was able to bring it forward, Stengel just did what good small forwards do. He was at the drop of the ball, and a terrific finish to get the first goal for Cats.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on Blitzarves and Petrarca seem to be lining up against each other a fair bit. It's not a tag, but they're going to play on each other.
And Jeremy Cameron started on the wing. Stanley wins down the tap. It spills out on the member side. Petrarca couldn't gather. Cameron can. Gets a kick to the outside of the boot. Running onto it, Ollie Henry. Lever got him and threw him into the turf. He gathers the footy, the Melbourne defender. Hand pass to Viney, your problem. As he's locked up by Ollie Henry at left half forward for Geelong. 5 minutes gone in the opening term. A goal apiece on ABC Sport. Tossed in the air. Gawn tries to flick it over the back to Neil Bullen. Opens up the passage at half-back. Into the middle of the ground for Petty. Can't get a fly at it. And Zach Guthrie takes the mark for Geelong. Hand pass away to De Koning. Drives a kick up towards Ollie Henry. Caught behind. Had to spoil against Lever. Had a fist of his jumper, and the Melbourne defender will win the free kick at centre half-back.
Brilliant last week, Jake Lever, voted by the coaches equal best on ground with Max Gawn. 15 intercept possessions, 26 touches of the Sherrin overall. Wide kick here for the Demons finds Chandler just behind halfway on the Shane Warne stand side. Chips it short to Langdon. Infield on the diagonal to Oliver. Handball to the overlap run of Langdon. Got it to Rivers just in the nick of time. High footy inside the forward 50. Van Rooyen makes his way to the contest. Was he held? Yes. Couple of Cats to contend with. And the Melbourne forward had a jumper tugged on the way through. And he'll have a shot 45 out, maybe a little bit further than that, directly in front.
We're watching probably the third game so far this weekend. The umpires during the week have been schooled on any form of hold As soon as the arm goes around the front of a play, don't even have to be grabbing a jumper. As soon as it goes around the front, they've been told to pay free kicks. And hopefully these players have watched the game last night and have learned, but I doubt it.
So here's Van Rooyen from 52 metres out. Kick always going right, leaking off the boot. Melbourne with a 1-point lead, 6.5 gone opening term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Tom Stewart looking to bring Geelong back into play, back into the lineup tonight alongside Gary Rowan, who's the sub. Bailey Laurie for Melbourne. Stewart out towards half-back. Stanley couldn't keep his footing. Tom McDonald makes the spoil. Petrarca for Melbourne at half-forward. Half-pass to Fritsch. A Pearson kick inside 50. Mismatch gone. Taken by Zach Guthrie of Geelong. Kicks a long kick down the middle. Looking for Hawkins. Got rid of May. Couldn't take the mark. Stengel front and centre. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Closes underneath it. Flying is Ollie Henry. It's knocked away by McPhee. Melbourne under pressure. Rivers kicks straight to the boundary. This will be out on the full. And Zach Tui races after it. He gathers in the right forward pocket for Geelong. And we'll have the shot on goal, the Irishman.
It was good last week, Tui. Kicked 3 goals. Looks like he's going to go back and have a shot here, but how quick Geelong were able to transition off the half-back line. It's going to be a very fast-paced game if we keep that up for the rest of the night.
A career best 3 goals last week in his 275th game. Surpassing Jim Stynes as the most games played by an Irishman. He's up against the boundary here in the right forward pocket. Trying to think his way through. He's going to go the banana. Zach Tui fires on goal. It's across the face. And through for a minor score. Scores locked at 1-1-7 apiece through 7.5 minutes in the opening term. A packed MCG for Saturday night footy on ABC Sport.
Do players think that they have to take 30 seconds when they have a shot for goal these days? He was looking at the scoreboard. It wasn't that puffed, but waited till it got right down to the last second before trotting in. You shouldn't need to tell them that you don't have to actually have 30. You get 30, but you don't have to take it.
May into McDonald in the left back pocket for the D's. Drives the kick up the line. Through the hands of Turner. Couldn't take the mark. Big pack forms. Around it is Viney. Harry Petty picks himself up off the deck. And we'll have a ball up between the wing and half back. As far as Melbourne's concerned, scores tight through 8.5 minutes in the early stages here. Clearing kick forward for the Cats. He's marked by Cameron, sliding out on the numbers of the 50 at right half forward. And this kind of range is anything but beyond Jeremy Cameron.
This is why Jeremy Cameron's so good. He trotted forward and Melbourne defenders, there was 3 Melbourne defenders that had to pass him over, and Tom McDonald was the last of them to get hold of him, but he just seems to lose defenders on his way from the stoppage forward. So that's why he's such a hard matchup.
5 last week for Cameron. From outside the arc, strikes it, leaves it narrow, minor score. Cats' first lead of the game is that point. 1-2 to 1-1 through 9.5, and a fast start here at the MCG.
If you want to get in touch with us on the SMS throughout the night, 0437 774 774. Stephen May looks to bring Melbourne back into play. Surveys the options, decides to go short to Clayton Oliver. He takes the mark in the right back pocket. Geelong leading by a point. Oliver looks into the middle of the ground, decides to send it long to the members wing. Gawn's the target, works his way to the front. Blitzapps makes the spoil. De Koning's hand pass for Geelong, picked off by Windsor. Kicks up towards half forward and Turner takes the mark. Kicked 3 goals last week. He slips over as he was backpedaling behind his mark. He's 75 metres out from goal. Bailey Fritsch leads to the pocket. He puts it in that direction. Geelong with the numbers. Cameron comes in from the side. Can't take the mark. Petrarca trying to extract it. It spills away of Tom Atkins. He's locked up. And it's 15 metres out from Melbourne's goal. At the city end. Geelong by a point.
And that sort of kick isn't going to work for Melbourne at all tonight. They haven't got the big pack markers.
Oliver off the pack. Tried to take on the tackle. And he got grabbed as he did so. Couldn't get rid of it legally. And Tom Atkins, the tackling machine for the Cats, wins the free kick top of the defensive goal square.
Yeah, just to finish that point, Melbourne haven't got the pack markers, and Geelong are too good in the air, so they need to pinpoint rather than bomb.
Thoughts of Australian Football Hall of Famer Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Long kick clears the defensive 50 for the Cats. Off hands roved by Cam Guthrie. Handball off to the run of Holmes. Up the wing on the outer side to Tui. Handball to Hawkins. Back to the run of Zach Tui. Inside the 50. Dempsey pulls it in. A pace inside the boundary line. Right forward pocket. He's 35 from home.
Well, Melbourne are one of the best teams in the league at defending the ball coming out of their forward line into their back line. But tonight the Cats are just having a bit of a field day getting the ball from one end of the ground to the other with pace.
Having a bit of a breakout season is the youngster Ollie Dempsey. Every game so far, 5 goals, 5. This from beyond the boundary line. The strike is pure. That's a terrific set shot from the youngster. And the Cats go 7 points clear. 2-2-14. Melbourne 1-1-7. 11.5 played opening term. Your experts on ABC Sport are Nathan Burke and Karen Peterson.
Just to double down on that, Berkey, Geelong have clearly gone to work. Everyone, I think, in the competition knows how well Melbourne's set up behind the ball. They play their system so well. It's why they probably don't have a very clear matchup for Cameron or for any of the other Geelong forwards, rather, for that matter, up forward, because they rely so heavily on their system. Geelong's gone to work on that, and they've said, okay, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to beat it with some speed around the boundary. They're not even going back off their mark. They're looking to take the ball forward at all costs, and it's the likes of Zach Tui, who predominantly have played his career in the back half. He's getting forward and being really damaging off the half forward.
Geelong by 7 points, back in the middle of the ground, slipping over. In the end, it was a chance for Clark. His hand pass chopped up by Clayton Oliver of Melbourne. Hand pass to Rivers, the pressure came. Clark with a push in the back. It's going to come back to Clayton Oliver. He'll take it to the back edge of the centre square. He looks out towards the southern side of the MCG. Spots Jake Lever. He marks at left half-back. Geelong 2-2-14 to Melbourne 1-1-7. Called to play on to. Switch across half-back. He shanks it into the middle of the ground. Judd McVie has to try and make it work. Quick hand pass out to Tom McDonald in the members' wing. Up to Van Rooyen. It bounces off his chest. He marks in front of Stewart. Into the middle of the ground once more. Spots something he likes. Sits Woden on the edge of the centre square. Looks out laterally. It's a good kick to Ed Langdon, trying to stretch the Geelong defence. He turns and comes inboard to Rivers, but no closer to goal. So clearly a directive from Simon Goodwin to try and find the options. Inside 50. Petty and Pickett were both there. And in the end, Harrison Petty takes an uncontested mark. Slightly left of centre. 25 metres out from goal.
Well, the Cats had 14 players inside their defensive 15. I think they just looked around and said, well, there's enough of us down here. There's no holes, but well done by Petty, and a fantastic kick in there to find Petty in amongst 14 Geelong defenders.
This is the moment of truth for the defender. Come forward. He's kicked 1 goal 5 so far this season. As the Demons desperately try to solve their forward issues. Harrison Petty for a confident starter here at the MCG. He comes in from 25 and puts through the Demons second. Closes the gap to a point. Geelong 2-2-14 to Melbourne 2-1-13. 14 minutes gone, opening quarter on ABC Sport. You're with Nathan Burke and Kes Peterson.
Well called, Clinchy. It's 1 goal 5. That'll be a huge boost for him to get that second goal for the season. Of the 18 times that the Melbourne team have gone to him in the forward 50, he's only kicked 1 goal for the season. So that'll be a nice settler for him tonight. It was a relatively straightforward goal, but he'll absolutely take a breath and a sigh of relief after that one. But Berkey called it really well. There was a really great placement of the kick coming inside that forward 50. Really patient build-up, because Geelong had flooded their numbers back, and they just waited and waited and waited for the gap to open up, and Petty was good enough to find himself in a bit of space.
And that's another reason why you can't bomb the ball against the Cats. You have to be patient, find holes, get on the lead.
Nice to have Nathan Burke with us, and nice to have the Cats spiked up with Nathan Burke clearly listening to what he's saying in the ABC Sport commentary box. From the clearance, Atkins with a handball outlined as he went tumbling to ground. It's picked up by Tui. There's a free kick in there. Or is it a ball up? It is the latter in the end. Looked like the umpire had signalled one way, and he was just releasing the arms from the cross over his chest. So ball up, centre wing on the outer side of the ground here at the MCG. Stanley wins it down. Bowes lays a crunching tackle for the Cats. He was busy in that department with 10 last week here against Carlton. Free kick at this contest. Atkins putting his head over it. Grabbed high by Sparrow. Handball off to the run of Holmes. And that kick will bring rain. And it might bring a few fans' evening dinner tumbling to the the floor in the MCG stands. Out off the side of the boot, out of bounds on the full. Free kick to Rivers.
Takes it left half back, looks up the southern wing. Petrarca's the target, little nudge from Tui. Spills down the way of Atkins. Hand pass to Coney. Back to Atkins. Tries to chisel the kick around the wing. It does work. Hand pass to Bose. Away to Cam Guthrie. Kicks up towards half forward. In a wrestle, Hawkins got rid of May, but then dropped the mark. Judd McVie kicks end over end. Tumbles it up the southern wing once more. Cosy Pickett had a fumble. It's knocked out by Holmes. Can't get traction on the wing. Woden tries to knock it out for Melbourne, but only as far as Clark at Geelong. Around the body inside 50. Cameron's there. Got a hand to it. Couldn't mark. Bose tries to crash the pack. Sliding in levers. It's desperate for both sides. Quick kick forward by Holmes. Awkward bouncing ball for Judd McVie. He leaves it for Stephen May. Gets the hand pass to Billings. Kicks up towards halfback. Van Rooyen flies. Can't take the mark. Neil Bullen dispossessed. Holding the ball. And Geelong will take the free kick at right half forward. And the free kick is going the way of Tom Atkins. Yeah, Max Holmes doesn't think it's his. And Tom Atkins is probably beyond range, 55 out from home.
Thought about the set-up kick, or he poked it into the pocket. Viney dropped the mark and only went 15 metres. Bose was right there with him for company. And the Demons will be able to clear eventually. Kick from Sparrow into the centre of the ground. Petty might have it out the back. He ran over the top of it, bounced off his bootlaces into the path of Stewart for the Cats. Handball to Atkins, handball to Holmes. Holmes to right half forward, just inside the boundary line. And now the spearing pass to Dempsey. He's already had one from this range, came from Cam Guthrie. And Dempsey's probably 5 to 10 metres further out from where he had his last shot, maybe only the 5. So he'll kick from 45 metres out beyond the boundary line in the right forward pocket if he does elect to take the shot.
The beauty of Dempsey is that he starts on a wing and then goes and plays with the smarts of a forward in the way that he leads. And a winger who's down there with him can't go with him. And a defender says, you're a winger, so I'm not going to go with you.
Righto, Ollie. You've done it once already. From beyond the boundary. Take two. Ollie Dempsey. Not quite. Goal umpire waited for it to do its thing, and it just missed narrow. 2-point lead to the Cats. 18 gone. Opening term on ABC Sport.
Demons quickly bring it back in. Judd McVie to Tom McDonald, who works it to Billings at right half-back. Around the members' side. He spots up a kick to Jack Lever. Playing some career-best footy in Melbourne's back six. Alongside Stephen May. Despite his shank early in this quarter. Kicks up towards Harrison Petty at half-forward. Spoiled away from him. Petrarca tries to get a hand-pass forward. Tackled by Atkins. Clark for Geelong. Hand-pass picked off by Petrarca. Tries to get it forward to Petty. But it's Zach Guthrie with a hand-pass into the middle of the ground. Close couldn't hang on to it. Hand-pass missed Stanley. Petrarca's hand-pass can't link up with Billings. It's tough and tight to be won. Over the shoulder, a free kick going Geelong's way. And Sam de Koning takes it, kicks out towards Cam Guthrie. He marks it left half back. Played his first game of the season last week. Great kick to Dempsey. Got past Lever. Hand pass to Ollie Henry. Hand pass to Jessica Cameron against the boundary line. Bumped by Sparrow as it goes out of bounds on the full. And even Jeremy Cameron, given the intense pressure of this match, couldn't control the footy. Geelong by 2 points through 19 minutes of the opening quarter. Here's Joel Peterson on ABC Sport.
McVie to bring it back into play for the Demons. Drives a long kick up toward the interchange gates. Gawn floats in, can't take the mark. Oliver off the pack. Handball to Billings. Handball to Viney. Viney's kick down low, taken by Dempsey. 70 out from the Cats. Just roosted to full forward, looking for Hawkins. Mays across to clatter it out of play with a decisive fist. And we'll have a throw in. 30 out from the Geelong goal. Left forward pocket. 2-3-15 the Cats. The D's 2-1-13. Kicking into time on here in this opening term.
Spinning back into play. Tom Hawkinson in the ruck against Max Gawn. Slaps it down. Gawn blitz out to the hand pass away. Myers the centering kick. Duncan couldn't take the chest mark. Chandler did enough. Clark gathers for Geelong. Hand pass to blitz out into the pocket. It misses the target. Just goes out in front of Tanner Bruin and Judd McVie. In fact, it might have cleared the boundary line. McVie thinks so. He's taken the kick. Centres it to May and now out to Tom McDonald. Left back pocket. Melbourne in transition. Kicks up the southern wing and Ed Langdon takes the mark.
Brad Close didn't think it cleared the boundary line. Must admit I didn't either. The boundary umpire was right on the spot. Langdon's kick up toward half forward. Neil Bullen's in the wrestling contest. Max Holmes puts his hands to his head in disbelief that the free kick was paid. And Neil Bullen's got it at left half forward for the Demons. Kick and a half from home. Down by 2 points, the D's, after they kicked the opening goal of the game through Bailey Fritsch. Sends it inside the 50. Gawn reaches up, can't take the mark. 30 out for the Melbourne goal. Pickett on cruise control. Stole the footy out of the Cats' hands and rams through the goal. D's back in front through the poaching of Cozzy Pickett. 21 gone opening term. Melbourne 3-1-19. Geelong 2-3-15 on ABC Sport.
Well, you caught it right, Joel. It was a steal. I think it was Guthrie who picked up the football and just didn't quite have it in his hands securely. And Pickett on the way through just said, yoink, I'll take that, thank you very much, and snap one through. So that's his first kick of the night. It's an important one. And just a 4-point lead with about 4 minutes left in this quarter. It's going to be a tight one, and every single goal that you get, whether you earn them or they're handed to you, you've got to take your chances, and that's what he did.
Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Guys, I've been watching with fascination the Jeremy Cameron situation. As you guys mentioned, he started on the wing. He's plonked himself back in the forward 50 now. But the D's defenders are really sort of letting him move up the ground and really sort of cover some territory. So it's fascinating to watch the different way the two teams are playing that situation. But Jeremy Cameron covering a lot of territory at the moment and doing it without a man close to him.
Thanks, Rory. Yes, it was one of the interests of tonight's match. Who would go with Jeremy Cameron if he pushed into the middle of the ground? Jack Viney gets a free kick. Taken over the shoulder by Bowes. Drives it inside 50, looking for Van Rooyen. It's over him. Zach Guthrie spoils it down. Holmes comes charging and he's locked up. 25 metres out from Melbourne's goal as Cade Chandler lays the tackle. The Demons deep in attack, looking to continue with their late quarter flurry. Van Rooyen wins down the tap against Stanley. Viney tries to wrestle it clear. Tackled by Bowes. It spills away. Onto it. Hang on, a whistle, a hold, and it's going to be a Geelong free kick. Chances the ball was kicked away, so it's going to come back to Tanner Bruin, and he'll take it 15 metres out from the Geelong defensive goal square.
Wonder if he'll take a breath here. It's been really high octane first 23, nearly 24 minutes of this first term. Wonder if he's going to try and possess or if he'll get the speed skates on and off he goes.
So Bruin drives it in front of the members' wing, falls in front of Dempsey, gets a hand to it, knocks it to ground. Picked up by Bowes, flicks the handball over the top to Close. Lightning hands back to Dempsey. He just tunnel-balled it back to Brad Close, who was grabbed in the tackle by Caleb Windsor. Doing some impressive things as the first-year Demon. Wasn't letting the ball out of his grasp there. Up it goes in front of us on the broadcast side wing. 4-point ball game. D's in charge at the moment. Clearing kick from the stoppage for the Cats up toward Hawkins. May has a fist to it. Cameron's out to meet it. 55 from home. McDonald right there with him. Stengel goes past it. McDonald sprawling on hands and knees. Hawkins lays the smother on the kick of May. Ricochets inside the forward 50 for the Cats. Comes back the other way with interest by Woden high outside the 50. Van Rooyen a hand to it. Fritsch the rove. He's thrown into the turf. Ball's not coming away. And a ball up left half forward for Geelong.
Melbourne by 4 points as Tom McDonald comes to the bench. He was alongside Jeremy Campbell when he was resting inside 50. Rivers from Melbourne taps it on to Clayton Oliver. Hand pass to Windsor. Back to Rivers. Hard against the boundary. Kicks around his body and found Fritsch. More luck than anything else. Hand pass to the runner Petrarca. Hand passes around the boundary. Around Tui looking for Fritsch. Can't take it cleanly. Spills off Bailey Fritsch. And Tom Atkins gathers. Hand pass to Bruin. A bump which was high. And it's going to be a Geelong free kick. It'll come back. Tom Atkins will take it at left half back. Melbourne by 4 points. Does it have an air of finals atmosphere about it, Kez, in your eyes?
Well, the game certainly has. I'm not sure the crowd's quite in it yet, but the game has been really high quality.
Atkins looks up the members' wing. Rivers couldn't complete the mark. It spills down to Clayton Oliver. His kick is smothered. Cam Guthrie onto it. Oliver onto him. Hand pass straight to the boundary, holding the ball.
That'll get the crowd involved.
Come to voice right on cue, Kez.
Right in front of the dark green seats. Oliver kicks in that direction. Van Rooyen works his way to the front of the pack, extends the arms and drags in the mark. Pickett wants it in the pocket. The kick goes more centrally than that. Blitzards through his hands. Pickett roved and he got dragged down. Just got the handball away. Taken by Kolodjasny in defence for the Cats. Here go Geelong. Close just whacks a worm burner up the middle of the ground. Cameron's up to meet it. May gets back there. Bit of holding going on. Going against Jeremy Cameron. McVie was tracking him. Did a good job to stay with him. And 50.
Yeah, the other Geelong player just He was arguing with the umpire and just did not move out of the 5-metre area.
So it was Cam Guthrie who infringed, and this will be an opportunity right on the edge of the arc for the D's.
So it's going to be Blake Howells who has the footy in his hands. He's kicked a goal in his 8th game of AFL footy, but he's from outside 50, so this would take his absolute best. Spots Jake Lever all on his own at left half forward, so kicks laterally to him, but he is no closer to goal. Still 60 metres out from goal. Lever veers out to the right, tries to punch a kick to the top of the goal square. Geelong well set. Jack Henry through his hands to Koning. Hand pass to Zach Guthrie. Spills to Windsor. Kicks around his body, but it's offline to the left. And through for a minor score. Melbourne by 5 points at the 26-minute mark of the opening quarter on ABC Sport.
Well, Geelong had 17 plays inside their defensive 50 then, so Melbourne, smart thing, you might as well have 17 in there as well.
Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson with you on ABC Sport. Now clinch Joel Peterson calling the footy. Rory Campbell on the boundary. Long kick out of defence for the Cats. It'll come back in. Langdon from the wing on the outer side. Sends it to half forward. Over the top of the pack came Zach Guthrie. Fast chain of handballs for the Cats. Bruin now. He's hemmed up. Kicks up toward half forward. Blitzar's back with the flight with some courage. Brought it to ground. Stengel's there at right half forward. Handball infield to Hawkins. Hawkins looks inside the arc. Blitzar's continued to run. And not even the main endurance man for the Cats could get there in the nick of time. It goes out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket. And Gawn will take the free kick for the D's.
Gawn's getting the free kick because he was chasing Reece Stanley right back into the goal square. Stanley's got licence to run forward whenever he wants, and it's a really dangerous thing.
The Melbourne captain kicks as far as he can around the southern wing to Koning with a big spoil for Geelong. Onto it Langdon. Hand pass to Oliver. He lost it. Tackled and holding the ball. Then Tanner Bruin wins the free kick. He's right on 50 out to the right. Thought about the hand pass as Holmes was charging through. He now pushes back behind his mark. Clayton Oliver with 7 disposals for the match, including a clearance and 5 contested possessions, but he was wrapped up on that occasion. Tom Atkins has led the way for Geelong with 9, including 2 clearances and 5 tackles. Tanner Bruin, the 21-year-old, starts his approach. Hasn't kicked a goal so far this season. He veers out to the right, gives it everything he's got. It's not a bad effort, it's offline. It's kept alive for a moment before Rivers decides he rushes it through. And a minor score. Melbourne by 4 points. 28 minutes gone. Opening quarter on ABC Sport. Here's Joel Peterson.
He's bringing it into the back pocket. Rivers has got it. Tanner Bruin, of course, traded a couple of years ago by the Giants to the Cats for pick number 21. That became new fan favourite for the Giants in Darcy Jones, who's really burst onto the scene in the last couple of weeks. Here's Howes. Back to McVie. Defensive goal square for the D's. Comes out to May at left half back. Spears the kick onto the chest of Langdon. And again they go into this possession mode. Try and avoid those high kicks that Nathan Burke was bemoaning earlier in this term. That's a lovely kick from May on the angle to Pickett. Now he goes diagonal to the AFL logo for Viney. But time will beat the Demons. They started with a flurry in the opening minute with a goal to Bailey Fritsch. The Cats then hit the front with 2 of their own. Melbourne with back-to-back goals to end the term, and they go into quarter time leading by 4 points. It is Melbourne 3-2-20, the Cats 2-4-16. Geelong coming to this game on top 7-0. Melbourne inside the top 4 at 5-2. Goals in the opening term for the D's to Fritsch, to Petty and to Pickett, and for the Cats to Tui and to Tyson Stengel.
The Cats have only lost 1 opening quarter so far in 2024. That was against the Brisbane Lions back in round 6, but they have led at every change apart from that throughout season 2024. Also keep you across the West Coast Eagles and Essendon taking place from Perth. There is a late out there with Marriage out and Dom Sheed coming in. So the debutant Harvey Johnston will be the sub and Ben Hobbs for the Bombers. As of course on the SMS 0437 774 774. A cheerio to Grant in Waterloo who's listening via the ABC Listen app and makes the reference. Yes, the 2 oldest clubs in footy competing tonight on ABC Sport. Great to have your company on ABC Sport on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Hi there, Lisa Miller here. Isn't it great to get outside for a breath of fresh air? It's one of life's simple pleasures, right? Well, I can help you to keep something else simple too. Finding news you can trust. You can stay in the know with ABC News. Download the app and receive alerts to your phone. Visit the ABC News website. And for stories straight to your inbox, subscribe to one of our newsletters. It's all the latest, all verified, all the time. Stay in the know with ABC News.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Again, the two rucks go at it. Gawn this time decisively. Gary some distance for the Demons. Petrarca applied it. Windsor pokes it inside the 50 onto the chest of Fridge. Bailey Fridge for the perfect start for Melbourne. The kick is true. Cameron and Gawn, they run into each other. Neither touch the footy. Bounce its way to Blitzarves in front of the interchange gates. He goes with a bounce through the AFL logo. Left peg inside the 50. Stanley almost couldn't mark. Stengel the crumb. The snap. The goal.
Langdon trying to stretch the Dawn defence. He turns and comes inboard to Rivers, but no closer to goal. So clearly a directive from Simon Goodwin to try and find the options inside 50. Petty and Pickett were both there, but in the end, Harrison Petty takes an uncontested mark. Harrison Petty, for a confident starter here at the MCG, he comes in from 25 and puts through the Demons second.
Neil Bullen's got it at left half forward for the Demons. Kick and a half from home. Sends it inside the 50. Gawn reaches up, can't take the mark. 30 after the Melbourne goal. Pickett on cruise control. Stole the footy out of the Cats' hands and rams through the goal.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Melbourne by 4 points at the first break here at the MCG. 3-2-20 to Geelong 2-4-16. Earlier today in Derby 27, it was the Sydney Swans who defeated GWS by 29 points. Errol Goulden claimed the Brett Kirk medal and the 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year. And St Kilda 29-point winners over North Melbourne at Docklands. Matt Clinch and Joel Peterson calling the action. Rory Campbell is down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts, Kes Peterson and Nathan Burke.
Well, a really, really high-quality first quarter. If that's the entree to what we've got coming up for the rest of the night, we are in for an absolute treat. But relatively even across the board, Berkey, 5 scoring shots to 6, which is about where we probably thought these two teams were going to be when we came in after the first quarter. But the two styles that they're trying to play are becoming really apparent. The way that Melbourne are trying to work the ball, particularly from their backline forward, is through kick mark. They're already up 33-14 in the marks, whereas Geelong are trying to move the ball by hand. They're trying to get it on the burst. They're looking for overlap run and trying to move the ball with their leg speed and their handball receives. At the moment, they're plus 10 in handball receives. So I'm not sure that they'll be able to keep up this pace for another 3 quarters. So at some point, the game is going to open up, and whichever team is able to sustain this aerobic power that they're playing with is probably going to end up on top, unless they can find a way to slow each other down.
It's a fascinating example of contrasting styles, as you rightly called it there, Kaz. One team just maintaining possession, the other team pushing numbers back, hoping to get that slingshot off the half-back line. And when they've been allowed to play their style, they've pretty much ended in goals. Well, this is probably me being weird. How I often judge good games is by the amount of times a player has no options but to throw it on their boot and just bang it forward. And despite we've seen 2 styles today, we've seen a lot of that. There's been a lot of I've just got to bang it forward because I'm so under the pump, and that just shows to me that the pressure rating is up really, really high. Both teams are on. They're really on their games and having a red-hot dip and just causing the ball to be banged forward. And I love watching that sort of football, and tonight we're getting a bit of both. We're getting a bit of class. Like Dempsey's goal over there in that forward pocket was amazing. I've really liked the way that I think we saw him in round 1 down there at Geelong, and we made mention of the young fella with the Larry pink boots. Yes. and the headband, and he was Lairising around out there a little bit.
That's all your style, isn't it, Berkey?
That's man after my own heart, exactly. And but he's living up to it. And what I've loved about him today is he's starting on the wing in front of us, and he's pushing right deep into the forward pocket, then across the other side of the ground. And the 2 shots for goal he's had have been in the opposite forward pocket from the wing that he's playing on. And Jack Billings and the like, who are his opponents, are just sort of staying on their traditional wing. So he's working really, really hard and getting the results for it. And I think he's just typical of what Geelong expect of each other and how they all play.
Only the second time this season Geelong has trailed at quarter time. Jeremy Cameron was interesting, Kez, on the wing at various stages. 4 disposals and a behind next to his name. And Simon Goodwin will be pretty happy with the way in which his side entered the forward 50, especially given how much of a presence we know Geelong's defence is.
Yeah, they were really patient when they went forward. We called a couple of times that Geelong were flooding all their numbers back. I think the most they had back in there was 17 at any given time. And that's the way that Geelong want to play. They want to all get up the ground and then all work and try and beat their opponent back forward. But I think Simon Goodwin would be really pleased with the way that his players were patient and waiting for the gaps to open up and trusting his forwards to lead into the space.
Chris Scott doesn't mind the odd change on the big stage. Sam de Koning starting the ruck in this second quarter, up against Max Gawn. Gawn wins down the tap to Oliver, but it's Blitzavs who pitches the hand pass. Cosy Pickett tries to slide in. Gawn overran the footy. Oliver trying to gather it. Was he held? No whistle. Now there is. Now there's a player down in the middle of the MCG. Jack Viney.
Yeah, Viney's holding his shoulder.
He is down on all fours as Clayton Oliver takes the free kick. Keep an eye on that, Joel. Long towards Gawn and Petty. Neither can take the mark. Langdon, the rover, fires towards goal and misses. Offline to the left-hand side, a minor score. Melbourne by 5 points as Jack Viney gets to his feet.
Yeah, he was clutching at his right shoulder for a long time, but hopefully it's just a stinger because he's got up and he's waving away the trainers and the physios at the moment.
So ran into Sam de Koning laying the tackle on Mark Blitzavs.
Holmes from fullback, plays on into the back pocket, drives the kick up the wing through the hands of Petty, spills to Oliver. His kick goes 20 metres forward and 25 up, and Zach Guthrie's good enough to pull that one in. Shoots it short to de Koning inside the defensive 50. Now to Kolajasny. He's going to whip it out wide for Jack Henry. Plays on by hand to the run of Atkins in front of the Shane Warne stand. Takes a bounce. It almost slid away from him. He gets his left foot kick away in the end. Up toward half forward. Ollie Henry over the pack. Petty. Good juggling mark. Working hard defensively. Takes it right on the edge of the defensive 50. Dangerous kick. Looking for Rivers. Bash back into Cat's hands. Dempsey has a play at it. He's dragged down. How to get rid of it? Umpire said it was okay. Now Windsor for the Demons. Had it. Lost it. Slaps it defensively. Only as far as Henry, who bangs the Cats forward.
Jack Henry up towards half forward. Lever was there. And there was a free kick anyway. It was against Tom Hawkins. So Tom McDonald might receive the ball from Jake Lever. The Melbourne defence working well as Tom McDonald has it at right half back. 2 minutes gone. Second quarter on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport. Melbourne by 5 points. As Tom McDonald kicks up the southern wing. Gawn's the target. Tom Stewart with a big fly, but it lands in front of him. And Disco Turner takes the mark. He'll become a cold figure if he can take marks like that. Hand pass to Viney. He turns it over. Kolajasny takes the mark for Geelong in front of Fritsch. Switches it back inside 50 to the run of Max Holmes. Kicks out to Tui on the members wing. In from the side. Turner makes the spoil. Spoils down the way of Ollie Henry. He swings onto his right hand side. Kicks up towards half forward. Melbourne are well set. And Judd McVie takes the mark at left half back.
McVie defensively. Intelligent kick to Lever. Top of the defensive goal square now to Rivers. Every game last year for Trent Rivers. Started promisingly again this season. Sparrow, South Australian, comes in field to Langdon. He led Oliver to the football with a kick through the middle, but Cameron was there with him every step of the way for the Cats. Underground hand pass from Stewart. Finds Blitzarv, defensive side of the centre circles, onto his left boot. An awkward one, but it was trapped well by Duncan. Goes inside the 50. Stengel's got space to operate in. McDonald did well, though. Beat him to the footy. Patted it out in front of himself. Found the safe haven of Neil Bullen. He hand passes defensively to May, and May chips short and finds Howes.
Howes looks to come in the middle of the crowd for McVie. Melbourne across half back as he chips it to Rivers. The run now comes from behind. Jake Lever receives the hand pass, takes the bounce, opens up the passage out wide for Windsor as he drawed Ollie Dempsey towards him. Windsor marks between wing and half forward. Can work it up towards right half forward, and Tom Sparrow marks. The Geelong are well set. Melbourne heading to the punt road end in this second quarter. Turns and comes back inboard to Caleb Windsor. Still looking for a Rising Star nomination in his 8th game of footy. He drives Melbourne inside 50. Max Gawn's there. And Mighty Max takes the mark. Just got rid of Sam de Koning. And he'll kick on a 45-degree angle from 35 metres out.
Well, again, just another really patient build-up for Melbourne. Max Gawn probably got away with a bit of a push in the back there on Sam de Koning. As a defender, I'm going to stick up for the defenders. on that occasion, because if it was the other way around, I know what would have happened. But
yeah, you're not allowed to tickle him in the belly because that's a free kick, but you're allowed to push him in the back.
The Melbourne captain starts his approach from 40 metres out to the right. Gawn shanks it and misses to the right-hand side. The Demons with the last 2 goals of the match, but their lead is 6 points. 4 minutes gone, second quarter. Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Guys, just watching Jack Viney after that injury concern a little earlier. He looked to be moving around okay. He's just come off with medical staff are checking him over on the bench.
Thanks, Rory. Holmes outside defensive 50 for the Cats. Links up with Jack Henry, who floats in, takes the mark, kicks long down the line. Clark had a piece of it for the Cats, couldn't take it. Windsor on hands and knees, handball forward for the D's. Oliver's dragged under the footy, got it back to Windsor. Handball to Howes, handball out wide. Sparrow sprints away, centre of the outer side wing, kicks inside the 50. Turner almost ripped it away from De Koning. Forced it forward, Fritsch had his legs taken, no free kick. Cats defence can recover. Stewart, Zach Guthrie back to Stewart. Kick across the defensive goal line. Just pulled in by Kolajasny right next to the left hand behind post, and then he measures his pass perfectly for Jack Henry. The Cats will come out to half back, but they're doing it with fine margins inside the defensive 50 at the moment, down by 6 points.
Zach Guthrie receives the kick from Holmes, looks up the southern wing. Tom McDonald flies in front of Jeremy Cameron, knocked down by Howes and Melbourne. To Windsor, spills back to Howes, thought he was held when he didn't have it. Tom Atkins for Geelong, hand pass to Stengel, broke a tackle, hand pass to Myers, back to Stengel, feigns the hand pass, looks inside 50, it's too wide. And out of bounds on the full. The Bronx cheers and the Melbourne fans, such as the pressure of this contest. Jake Lever to take the free kick in the right back pocket. Melbourne by 6 points.
So Lever doesn't see a lot that he likes, so just dumps it long. Goes toward Gawn, who palmed it down to the end, but straight to Atkins of the Cats. Holmes off a step back the other way, taken by Howes of Melbourne. 65 from home at right half back. Joel Peterson, Matt Clinch calling the footy for you. Rory Campbell on the boundary, and 7 All-Australians between our experts on ABC Sport, Kes Peterson and Nathan Burke. So you're in good hands this evening. D's now chained it inside. Sparrow comes in board to Oliver, just in front of halfway. Dumps a high kick inside the 50. Van Rooyen's got a run at it. Just couldn't pull it in. Belted away by Stewart over the back. He ends up with a handball outside the defensive 50. Picked up cleanly by Holmes. Cats coming forward. Oh, great tackle from Chandler. Stopped Bowes in his track. Got boot to ball. Spills outside to the wing. Sparrow fires in. Petrarca's there. He got a clean handball away. McDonald tried to take it. Dempsey now for the Cats. Got it back to Bowes. He curls his kick up the wing.
And he finds Jeremy Cameron. He gets the hand pass away to Myers. Chips a kick to Duncan. Lever the other way. Duncan couldn't take it. Lever gathers to Melbourne. Gets the hand pass away. Roy Woden switches across half-back. Billings gathers at left half-back. Needs an option. Nothing presenting. Close curls on him. One way then the other. Kicks up the wing. No one there for Melbourne. Zach Guthrie runs onto it. Hand pass to Tui for Geelong. Looks into the pocket. Close has a move and a lace-out pass to him. As he claims it in the right forward pocket, he'll centre the kick, and Tyson Stengel on a slightly more open angle. He'll shoot slightly right of centre from about 35 metres out.
He called it well, Clinchy. When Billings looked up to go down forward for Melbourne off the half-back line, he had absolutely nothing to kick to because the Geelong defenders had worked across and completely owned that wing of the MCG. He had absolutely nowhere to go, and that's why it's resulted in a turnover.
Tyson Stengel with 13 goals for the season. He has one already tonight. The live wire for the Cats. A slightish angle, but only about 35 metres out. Looking to draw Geelong level. Stengel comes in and leans back and misses. It flares out to the right, misses everything. Out of bounds on the full. 8 minutes gone, second quarter. Melbourne still by 6 points.
Uncharacteristic, to say the least, from Tyson Stengel. Usually so clean in front of the sticks. Driven in by Lever for the Demons. Clears the pack, ends up with Billings. Little chip over the top was neat to Petrarca. Had Billings kept on running past in front of the interchange gates, no one mans the mark, so Petrarca's got a bit of space to work in. Takes the acreage, kicks inside the 50. Fritsch used the body beautifully. He lined up Atkins, collided into him, and then pulled the mark into his chest. 45 from home, 35-degree angle to the left of centre.
It's very unlike Geelong defending. The last two shots at goal, it was Max Gawn went one-on-one against De Koning, and that time it was Fritsch going one-on-one against his opponent from a long kick. Normally you'd get the third player into that contest who either marks the ball or smashes it 20 metres over the boundary line, but both times the Melbourne forwards have gone one-on-one and won.
Kicked the first of the game at the other end of the ground, did Bailey Fritsch. Now to the punt road end. Left foot kick. Grazes the outside of the post on its way through for a minor score. 7-point lead. D's in front. Downstairs to Rory Campbell.
Guys, Jack Viney's been given the all clear from the medical staff. He's back on the ground now.
Thanks, Rory. In the West, it's Essendon 2 behinds to the West Coast Eagles 1. Coverage, of course, available on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL Extra button as Jake Kolajasny receives the kick in from Stewart. Centres it to Mitch Duncan. Melbourne 3-5-23 to Geelong 2-4-16. The Demons are 3 behinds to Geelong's 1 out on the full from Tyson Stengel. Jack Henry gets the hand pass away to Max Holmes. His kick is over the head of Sam De Koning. Bruin one direction, Windsor the other. And it spills off hands and goes out of play. Centre wing under the Shane Warne stand. Melbourne by 7 points. 10 minutes gone, second quarter. Crowd of around 50,000 plus in at the MCG. Just under 90,000 last night for Collingwood and Carlton. A big 48 hours at the MCG. Jack Viney's involved here. 1-2 with Petrarca. Viney spots up Pickett, who leads straight up the tarmac and marks in front of Tom Stewart. He's slightly right of centre. He'll kick from just inside 50.
Well, that's another mark inside 50 to Melbourne. They're getting far too many. I'm pretty sure in the Geelong coach's box they're looking at that back line and they're just not quite on their game at the moment.
Goals in every game so far this season for Cozzy Pickett. Of course, he missed through suspension, but he has one already tonight. Here's a fire starter for Demons fans. Veers out to the right, gives it everything he's got. It's offline and off hands through to the left-hand side. And a minor score. Melbourne by 8 points, but they've kicked 4 behinds in this second quarter to Geelong yet to score. 11.5 minutes gone on ABC Sport. Here's John Peterson.
Biggest lead of the game for either side. I just wonder, in a game like this, against such quality opposition, some of these chances come back to hurt the Demons later on. Kolajasny outside the defensive 50. Long kick up towards Stanley on the wing. Ollie Henry in front of the pack. Brought it down to Close, who kicks up toward right half forward. May charging at the football. Knew he couldn't get there to mark, so fisted across the line and out of play. And it'll be thrown in front of the members and the Melbourne race. 70 metres out from home for the Cats. Kicking to the city end here in this second term. Demons with 4 behind so far. Cats yet to score. They're 12 minutes in here on ABC Sport. Boundary throw-in results in a ball up still at right half forward for Geelong.
Van Ryan and Stanley. It spills down the way of Jack Viney. Slides in front of Cam Guthrie. Hand pass to Windsor against the boundary line. And taken out. Tanner Bruin got him on the artificial turf just outside. And slightly awkward landing, but the umpire says throw it in. An interesting tussle taking place. Melbourne have had the opportunities. Geelong are hanging in there. Thrown in. Gawn wins down the tap against Stanley. Tanner Bruin with a hand pass to Close at half-back for Geelong. A half-forward, I should say. Tui one way, then the other. Fires on goal and misses to the right-hand side. The Irishman offline, and Melbourne's lead is 7 points at the 13-minute mark of the second quarter.
Waste no time bringing it back into play. Long bouncing kick finds Langdon at half-back. He kicks up the line and finds Petty. Outer side wing, right on halfway. Harry Petty feeds the handball over the top to the run of Langdon. Langdon looks inside the 50. Van Rooyen off Fritsch. Fritsch went up. Van Rooyen stayed out the back, right forward pocket. He and Pickett could have raffled it. And in the end, neither take possession. Duncan has scored it across the line. Throw in.
Yeah, ball rolling around the boundary line. I'd rather Pickett pick up the ball than Van Rooyen, who tunnel balled it out of bounds.
25 around from the D's goal. Tossed back into play. Petty takes front spot at the ruck contest. Handball ends up with Duncan though. He got it to Close. Now on the back edge of the 50, Myers flights his kick into the centre of the ground. Dempsey was up. McVie had a piece of it as well. Ollie Henry's there on the AFL logo broadcast side. Drags Windsor underneath him. Ball's not coming out. We will have a ball up. Cats 2-5-17. D's 3-6-24. 14 gone. Second term on ABC Sport. Here's Matt Clinch.
Tossed up in the air, Max Gawn and Reece Stanley, the last two to arrive. Gawn wins down the tap to Fridge, swings onto his left-hand side, slips over as he gets a kick up towards Mitch Duncan. Can't take it cleanly for Geelong. Tanner Bruin can. Hand pass missed Tui. Sparrow tries to put his head over the footy and lays a big tackle on Cam Guthrie. He slowly gets back to his feet, returns the ball to the umpire member's side. Quickly thrown aloft. Gawn wins down the tap and then slaps it on once more. Gets it to Fridge, up towards Van Rooyen. Clears him and Jack Henry. Petty knocks it on. Gathers to Melbourne. Hand pass to Pickett. Finds some space. The sidestep. Tackled by Colin Chasney. Dribbles it to the goal square. Van Rooyen throws his head back. Wanted a free kick. It's not coming. Jack Henry clears it, but only to Woden, who takes the chest mark. He's at right half forward. 60 from home. Pokes it into the pocket and Billings on the second bite. Mark's only 5 metres in from the boundary in the right forward pocket. He's 45 metres out from goal.
Well, what seemed like a really clean first quarter, we're not seeing that in this second term. There's a lot of fumbles and not very clean touches. Second and third grabs at it, and unfortunately for Melbourne, Van Rooyen's had two inside the forward 50 that could have resulted in goals. May end up working out for them here, but unfortunately he just needs to be a little bit sticky, a bit cleaner with his possession.
Cosy Pickett normally looks so beautiful with the sidestep. That time just had to bang it on the boot. Here's Jack Billings in the right forward pocket. The former Saint misses everything. Out of bounds on the full. So the high fixture contest here is delivering some lowlights in terms of the application from both sides. Melbourne still lead by 7 points. 15 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport.
10 minutes in, you thought it could have been anything. It's slowed down a touch since then, but it's still an intriguing contest nonetheless. Great to have you with us. Saturday night footy. Hawkins gets a touch at half-back. Long kick down the line. Will tumble out of play. The umpire says it's okay. It'll be thrown back in off the boot of Bowes. This time in front of halfway for the Cats. Tom Hawkins, just his third disposal of the game. He had a couple of opportunities to mark in that first term. Couldn't latch onto either of them. Stanley and Gawn in ruck here. Slap defensive side of the stoppage for the Cats, but Duncan was there waiting for it. Chips forward to Myers. 2 kicks from home. Out at left half forward. Pokes it to the edge of the 50 and finds Bowes. He's 55 metres out from goal for Geelong. Handballs off to Duncan, cruising past. Loads up, leaves it left. Minor score makes it a 6-point ball game. Cats 2-6, D's 3-6. We're halfway through the second term.
It's almost next goal wins. The way they're kicking for goal at the moment. Getting some good looks both teams, but just the final point, the most important point of the whole game, finishing and kicking it through the big sticks, is just lacking.
Australian Football Hall of Fame member, St Kilda champion Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport as Stephen May goes short to Woden, just took it in front of Stengel. It was closer than he expected. Kicks up towards the southern wing. Max Gawn couldn't mark. Spills down. Oliver with a hand pass to Neil Bullen. Links up with Billings. Kicks a high ball towards Fridge. Back with a float Stewart. And Tom Stewart takes the mark. Courageous and now 50. As Bailey Fridge wouldn't move to allow Stewart to get back behind his mark, and he is charging towards half forward. The 5-time All-Australian for Geelong. Back in the lineup tonight. Pokes the kick to the lead of Hawkins. And as we've seen so many times here at the MCG, Tom Hawkins leads out and marks on his chest.
And Stephen May was trailing 5 metres behind, and quite rightly, he just turned around to Clayton Oliver and Jack Billings and said, hey, you two, how about standing in the leading lane and not just stand there still, and made a beautiful channel for Tom Hawkins to lead into.
For just the third time in his career, he's been held goalless for 3 consecutive weeks. Just the 3 disposals so far tonight. Tom Hawkins comes in from 45. He misses out to the right, leaning back. And another minor score. So not one for the highlight reels in this quarter. Melbourne have kicked 4 behinds. Geelong have kicked 3 behinds, and the Demons lead by 5 points. 18 minutes gone, second quarter on ABC Sport. Opening goal the way of the Bombers in the West. They lead the West Coast Eagles by 8 points.
Only moment of solace is Clinchy. They're all doing it. Tyson Stengel's kicked one out of bounds on the full. Billings did at the other end as well. An epidemic out there at the moment. Lever's got it at left half back for Melbourne in front of the members. Drives it up in front of the interchange gates. Petty across the pack with a rise. That's an imposing mark. Immediately plays on by hand to Windsor. Windsor inside the forward 50. Van Rooyen. Guthrie was up early in defence, but Van Rooyen stood his ground and pulled it in. He's 45 from home, maybe slightly better than a 45-degree angle to the left.
It's really good for Melbourne when they're trying to break the line. So Petty took that really great, strong mark, contested mark on the wing and chose to handball it off to Windsor, who just broke the line and made the correct call, saw the mismatch, hit up Van Rooyen.
9 others have had attempts in this term so far and missed. Can Jacob Van Rooyen right the ship for the Demons? No. Make it 10. So 8 behinds, 2 out on the full so far in this term. Melbourne by 6 points. And this is first versus fourth, people, 20 minutes into the second term.
Maybe we need some wind to sort of blow the ball back through the goals.
Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Guys, there's still plenty of duel around. I don't know, Berkey and Kez, if you reckon that might be contributing to the lack of accuracy.
Tom Stewart's long kick in is picked up by Clayton Oliver. Kicks up to the 50 and Harrison Petty marks on his chest. He wants to kick to Pickett. It's a 2-on-1. Spoiled away by Cam Guthrie of Geelong. Off the deck by brother Zach Guthrie. That's creative. It spills the way of close. Hand pass missed Kolajasny. Over the footy is Atkins and Jack Billings over the top of him. Umpire lets it play for a moment or so. Kolajasny with a hand pass. Cam Guthrie kicks straight to the boundary. Out of bounds on the full. And Melbourne with a chance to reload.
Rory, if the dew makes them kick not straight, I'd hate to see what would happen if we had a bit of mud out there. Probably missed their boot altogether.
There was a bit of mud back at the SCG. Took us back to your playing days, Berkey.
Loved it.
The Giants and the Swans, in which Sydney got the win. Stephen May's turned it over. A howler at centre half back. Ollie Henry on the run. Hand pass over the top to Stengel. Only made between he and the goals. Swings on to his right. Centering kick looking for Close. He bought some good time there. Close has to slap it away from Lever. Desperate act from the defender. It spills out to Ollie Henry. He's locked up by Judd McVie and across the boundary line. Melbourne's defenders came racing back and Stephen May will take a nice deep breath right now.
Close might have been a little bit stiff not to get a free kick there.
Very clumsy from Lever. Well disguised, I would say.
Stephen May just after turning it over, put the head down and sprinted back to the goal square. Ball chucked back in. Hawkins does the ruck work. And he does the roving. Farms it up looking for Atkins. Ended up in the hands of Holmes. Kicks a sack to the pocket. Close gets thumped again, this time by May. It's come off a boot there in the right forward pocket for the Cats. And it's going to be a free kick to Geelong and Tanner Bruin. It's bounced off the boot of McVie. Saw one at Docklands earlier today that definitely didn't bounce off the boot of Luke Davies-Uniacke, but that one has definitely come off the boot of Judd McVie. And it means that Tanner Bruin's got a shot deep in the right forward pocket. Starts his approach from beyond the boundary. Hasn't kicked one this year, and that won't change with that shot. So we're up to 9 behinds in the quarter. 3-7 Melbourne, 2-8 Geelong. It's a tense clash at the MCG. 22 minutes gone in the second term on ABC Sport.
The Demons look to bring the ball back into play through Judd McVie. Goes out to the right back pocket and Stephen May marks. Plays on. Kicks up towards Gawn and Viney. Viney in from the side. Takes the mark in front of Reece Stanley. Plays on the Melbourne number 7. Kicks up towards half forward. Fritsch the target. Can't hang on to the mark. Petty does the roving. Kicks inside 50. Pickett back with the fly. Jack Henry spoils. A crucial touch. Got it down to Stewart. Hand pass to... Kicks up towards half back. Petty can't take the mark. Blitzhouse makes the spoil. Zach Guthrie tries to knock it on. He finds Dempsey for Geelong. Hand pass missed Duncan. Running onto it Atkins. Left it for Stanley. Hand pass to the runner Bruin. Through the middle of the MCG. Hand pass missed Atkins. Tries to knock it on to Clark. A chance of Melbourne as Oliver knocks it out to Neil Bullen. Now spinning out to Langdon on the wing. And Tanner Bruin is down as slow to rise as Langdon's over the footy. And Jack Vining comes over the top to make it a 2-on-1. And the umpire will throw it up on the Shane Warne stand side. Melbourne by 5 points. We haven't had a goal so far in this second quarter. The Demons 3-7-25 to Geelong 2-8-20.
Bruin back on his feet, which is good to see. Viney ran into Atkins. 2 hard nuts. Quick kick forward for Melbourne. Chance for Kolajasny at half-back. He's wrapped up by Petty. And he was taken home in the process. So free kick to Jake Kolajasny on the edge of the defensive 50 for the Cats. Comes inside to Duncan. Now to Stewart. Out to right half back for Holmes. Measured the kick nicely. Max Holmes stands in line with the back edge of the centre square, and he's off, using that trademark pace to Cameron, who hasn't had much space in this second term. Tried to dart the kick around the body, broken up by McVie, knocked on by Clark, to close, to full forward, reaching up Stanley, can't take the mark. Hawkins at their feet, 15 out from the Cats goal. Well done, the Demons defence. Lever shared it by hand to Howes, and he chips it to the back pocket for Langdon.
Only has Harrison Petty up the wing, so takes some time and waits for Neil Bullen to run into space, and he marks it right half back in front of Tom Atkins. Melbourne by 5 points. As Tanner Bruin comes to the bench, he'll head down to Rory Campbell in just a moment. Alex Neil Bullen kicks as far as he can around the Shane Warne stand side. Harrison Petty rises in the pack and takes the mark. In front of Mitch Duncan, looks up to half forward. Chandler's on the lead, but he can't get it past Tom Stewart. The ever-reliable All-Australian defender floating across half-back. Takes the intercepting mark for Geelong and goes wider still to Jake Kolajasny. Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Yeah, Tanner Bruin just came off, guys. He gestured at his left shoulder, and the doctors are giving that some attention now.
Hopefully all okay for Tanner Bruin. Kicking field from Duncan's a good one. Bites it off to Stanley. Cats have to go. Time winding down before the main break. Holmes now to right half forward looking for Tui. Can't find his chest. Kept it in front of himself. Dragged off it by Windsor though was the Cat. Holmes scoots in. And the siren for half-time beats the Geelong advance. A goalless second term. Plenty of scoring was done. Melbourne kicked 5 behinds. Geelong kicked 4 behinds. We had a couple of other shots for goal that were out on the full, but neither team could register a major. You consider in their 7 games so far this season, these teams had combined for 3 scoreless quarters, and they both go scoreless in the second term here at the MCG. And it leaves us with a 5-point lead to Melbourne at half-time. 3-7-25. To Geelong 2-8-20. So the goal kickers remain as they were at quarter time. Bailey Fritsch, Harry Petty and Cozzy Pickett for the D's. Geelong through Zach Tui and Tyson Stengel. And there might not have been any goals kicked, Clinchy, but that doesn't mean that the standard of footy isn't right there. The standard of finishing may not be great, but the footy is very good.
The highlights are going to sound interesting. The thoughts of Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson with you on ABC Sport.
I don't know what to make of that quarter, to be totally honest. I'd love to give you an in-depth analysis, but it was...
So which coach do you think would be more happy with that style of footy being played at half-time? Do you think Simon Goodwin would think, righto, well, we can win in a low-scoring scrap, or do you think Chris Scott would think, well, that's this type of footy we want to play?
I don't think either would be overly happy. I think they're happy with a score at 25-20 because it's basically now it's a game of a half. Whoever wins the half pretty much wins the game. I think the first quarter had more semblance of how each team wants to play. Melbourne maintained possession, Geelong slingshot. Geelong were trying to slingshot them, but what I think really helped was Melbourne's defence through the middle of the ground was actually very, very good. There was numerous times where Geelong had the overlap run handball, and you could see that if that player gets it, boy, they're out and away they go. But Melbourne just got the numbers there. They got a hand in. They just turned it over. They caused a ball up. So I thought Melbourne's defence through the middle of the ground was outstanding. Their finishing was really, really poor. What's also happening is both teams are playing one of their forwards up around the middle of the ground. So every time it's a stoppage, they bring an extra one up, and their opponents aren't coming with them. So their opponents are staying back inside their defensive 50s. So each forward line has an extra defender in it, and the midfield has 2 extra players around it. So we're getting a very congested middle, which means that the forward entries are a little bit sloppy, and that means that the player who's the spare is getting in the way a fair bit. And a lot of the shots we've seen have sort of come from out wide or far out. So defensively, I think both coaches would say, hey, that was a really good quarter for us. Just offensively is what lacked because they just failed to finish.
I don't have much to add, Berkey. You took the words out of my mouth when you said that's not... don't know what to make of it, because certainly didn't have... what did we end up with? 9 behinds in that second term on my bingo card. So
the last 11 scores have been behinds in the match.
You can see the blueprint though, right? Like you can see when it was the finishing that let both teams down in that second term, but the team that is able to accelerate off the turnover, but then be patient going inside forward 50, is the team that is getting the best looks in front of goal. And there's been on both sides of the equation here where they've waited for the pocket of space to open up in the forward 50. They've used the numbers around that 50 to 70 metres out from goal. They're happy enough to chip it around and then wait. We saw Tom Hawkins do it, and we also saw Bailey Fritsch do it down the other end. So I think both coaches would go in going, hey, we've seen what works. Now we just need to do it more frequently, and we also need to be far better than what we were in that second term in front of goal.
How have you seen the arm wrestle with Jeremy Cameron? Because he started out, he was flying for marks inside the defensive 50 at one stage. He had just the 3 disposals in that quarter. He's had 1 score involvement for the game. It was the big watch coming in. How would Melbourne handle him? How have you seen that play out, Berkey?
I think they've played into Melbourne's hands. I think Melbourne have been really happy with it because Tom McDonald is picking him up when he goes inside forward 50. But they're virtually saying, mate, if you get up the ground, you're going to be in the congestion. So you're not going to have a lot of free ball. But as soon as you get anywhere near goals, Tom's going to pick you up. And that's what's been happening. He's had 7 possessions, but his kicking efficiency is at 0 at the moment. That's because when he gets his possessions, he's in the scrum of the pack in the middle. And so I definitely think Melbourne are winning that battle. For me, I'd say, mate, just stay a bit closer to goal. Make Tom McDonald defend you one-on-one, and if you're not going to have a great night where you're going to have 25 possessions, well, let's say your 7 possessions, there's a couple of shots in that.
And yet for all Geelong's defensive structures, Kez, it sort of feels like Cozzy Pickett could be almost the most dangerous player on the ground. Geelong don't really have a matchup for him. Tom Stewart at certain times are alongside him, Jake Kolajasny the other. He's sort of been one alongside Max Gawn, who's had a couple of occasions where it's felt like they might stand up and seize the moment, but we're yet to see anyone take that chance.
Yeah, he's beating him for pace at the moment. He's putting himself in the right position at the fall of the ball, and then he's just using his pace and burning him, leaving daylight between him and whoever the opponent is at the time. So he's incredibly dangerous when he gets an opportunity, but at the moment, again, just in front of goal, more often than not, the entries inside 450 just aren't playing into Melbourne's hands. So I'd like to see, more opportunity for him to be in the contest. And obviously for Geelong, I feel like they probably do have a good matchup for him. I feel like Zach Guthrie could go with him, particularly if he starts to get going in this third term. I wouldn't be surprised if they close down that space on him, and I think Guthrie's the one to do it.
On the SMS 0437774774 774, Bill says if the D's continue chipping the ball like this, they'll likely win. Cats must find something, anything. And Ralph is listening to us and enjoying the call in a town called Poznegda in Western Serbia. Good luck to the Tigers tomorrow. Great to have you listening in via the ABC. Listen up, Ralph. Thanks so much. It's the Demons who lead by 5 points at halftime. 3-7-25 to Geelong 2-8-20. Meanwhile, in the West, it's the Bombers who lead by 10 points at quarter time there. We'll keep you across all the action from WA as round 8 of the AFL continues. Essendon 2-5-17 to the West Coast Eagles 1-1-7 with goals to Peter Wright, Carl Langford and also Jake Waterman. Quite a great story. Jake Waterman is up to 22 goals for the season, trailing Charlie Curnow with 25. We'll pause for the moment from the MCG and get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rollins. The US State Department says it's closely monitoring the situation following the discovery of 3 bodies near the last known location of 2 Australian brothers and an American friend in Mexico. Larry Buttrose has the details.
The site where the men's bodies were discovered was near the missing men's tents and truck on a remote stretch of coast south of the city of Ensenada. Jake and Callum Robinson, formerly from Perth, and American Jack Carter Road, went missing a week ago. Forensic testing is being conducted on the bodies for identification. Baja California prosecutors say 3 people arrested have been charged with a crime equivalent to kidnapping.
Police say the disappearance of a 22-year-old man in Melbourne's Eastern Fringe is out of character. A search and rescue team has been operating in the Sherbrooke Forest in the Dandenong Ranges today following the disappearance of the man last weekend. The missing man is called Zachary and described as Caucasian in appearance, 170 centimetres tall and with short blonde and brown hair. Inspector Paul Henry says he regularly walks through the forest area.
The family and friends describe his knowledge of the area as excellent. He regularly walks through the tracks, disengages from the community by choice. However, the length of time that he's taken at this particular time has been out of character.
A woman has died in hospital following a collision earlier this week in Melbourne's west. Police say a vehicle collided with a number of stationary cars at traffic lights in Derrimut on Wednesday. The driver of the vehicle, a 79-year-old St Albans woman, was taken to hospital but died. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Police in the Illawarra region south of Sydney are being told to prepare for severe weather overnight. The Bureau of Meteorology has issued a warning for heavy rainfall that may lead to flash flooding from the early hours of tomorrow, continuing into the evening. There are also warnings for hazardous surf conditions extending from the Illawarra up the New South Wales coast to Queensland's Gold Coast. In Queensland, 2 people charged over the alleged assault of a man north of Brisbane have had their charges upgraded to murder. Here's Ned Hammond with more.
Emergency services were called to a property at Mount Mee on Wednesday night following reports of an assault. A 23-year-old man was taken to hospital in a critical condition but has since died from his injuries. A 21-year-old woman and a 23-year-old man were originally charged with several offences, including attempted murder. Police have now upgraded the charge to murder. The alleged offenders appeared in Caboolture Magistrates Court on Friday and have been remanded in custody.
Space exploration from Southern Launch has reported a successful flight and retrieval of the largest commercial rocket ever to blast off in Australia. The rocket launched yesterday from the Coniba test range on the Eyre Peninsula. It landed about 75 kilometres away from the launch pad after a short flight and was retrieved by a crew which flew to the landing site. Amy Featherston from Southern Launch says it marked a significant milestone for the company.
We were targeting a 2:30 p.m. launch and we lifted off at 2:40 p.m. So that's pretty incredible in a 4.5-hour countdown to not have any delays. We had over 200 people there watching the launch from the local Ceduna and Coniba communities, and it was just a great atmosphere on the day.
The Australian Olympic Committee says it will prepare athletes for possible security threats at the Paris Games, which begin in late July. The Olympics are being held amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the Israel-Gaza war, which could lead to protests. CEO Matt Carroll says the committee will work with French police to keep athletes safe.
We are preparing the athletes for that disruption, ensuring that they're appreciative that there might be a delay, perhaps getting to training one morning or not to events. But I'm very confident the French security services to remove that any sort of anxiety there might be.
Police are investigating following a fire at a playground in Brisbane's northwest overnight. Emergency services received reports of a fire at the Fenwick Park playground in Mitchelton just after 1 o'clock in the morning. It was extinguished a short time later and there were no injuries. The fire is being treated as suspicious. And a firefighter who went back into a burning building in Sydney CBD to rescue a resident's wedding dress was among hundreds of emergency responders recognised at an awards ceremony today. Minister for Emergency Services Jihad Dib praised the efforts of Fire and Rescue New South Wales crews as part of the annual St Florian's Day celebrations. And in AFL, North Melbourne remain winless in the competition after losing to St Kilda this afternoon. That brings you up to date with ABC News.
There's a vault of secrets to unravel on ABC iView. Delve deep in Happy Valley and the control room.
She is the victim, I swear.
Peel back the layers in House of Gods and After the Party.
How do you know they're innocent?
And seek answers in Total Control and so much more.
You start fires wherever you go.
A vault of entertainment. Always free, always suspenseful on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Long towards Gawn and Petty. Neither can take the mark. Langdon the rover fires towards goal and misses. The Melbourne captain starts his approach from 40 metres out to the right. Gawn shakes it and misses to the right-hand side.
Bailey Fridge now to the punt road end. Left foot kick. Grazes the outside of the post on its way through for a minor score.
Tui one way then the other, fires on goal and misses to the right-hand side.
Bowes, he's 55 metres out from goal for Geelong. Handballs off to Duncan, cruising past, loads up, leaves it left. Minor score makes it a 6-point ball game.
Tom Hawkins comes in from 45. He misses out to the right, leaning back. And another minor score.
9 others have had attempts in this term so far and missed. Can Jacob Van Rooyen right the ship for the Demons? No. Make it 10. Tanner Bruin's got a shot deep in the right forward pocket. Starts his approach from beyond the boundary. Hasn't kicked one this year, and that won't change with that shot.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Oh, well done. 3 votes, C. Davis. We wonder what we'd have with no highlights. Well, they were the 9 behinds which took place in that second quarter. And Melbourne still lead at the main break by 5 points, having led by 4 at quarter time. The Demons 3-7-25 to Geelong 2-8-20. Matt Clinch and Joel Peterson calling all the action. Rory Campbell is down on the boundary. Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson are your experts on ABC Sport. Earlier today, the Sydney Swans winners by 29 points in derby number 27. The Swans 14-14-98 to GWS 10-9-69. Errol Goulden won back-to-back Brett Kurt medals. He also got 3 votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year from his 29 disposals and a goal. There was some telling factors, though, from that match. Campbell Brown will be looked at by the match review officer for his bump on Tom McCartan. McCartan was concussed and left the field. Tom Green also finished the match on the bench after an ankle injury early in the match. Lockie Schultz has received a 1-match ban for his knock to the back of the head of Blake Acres. So some challenges there for the Pies after their win over the Blues last night in thrilling fashion, with Nick Dacos kicking the winner. And the match before us, St Kilda winning by 29 points over North Melbourne. 15-13, 103 to the Kangas 10-5-65. Luke Ball in the ABC Football of the Year gave his 3 votes to Jack Sinclair for his 29 disposals and 2 goals. 3 goals to Wilson from the Saints, and Cam Zurha also beat it 3 goals. Meanwhile, in the West, it's the West Coast Eagles who trail the Bombers, but the opening goal of the second quarter going the way of the Eagles, who have closed the gap. In fact, they've taken the lead with that goal. 3-1-19 to the Bombers 2-5-17.
The milestone man.
The milestone man stepping up with a goal. Wonder if he's going to sign that contract to remain in the West. We shall see. Plenty of other sport taking place across the weekend as well. Sydney FC have won the A-League Women's Grand Final today in Melbourne, defeating Melbourne City 1-0 at Amy Park in front of more than 7,500 fans. So the victory sees Sydney claim the championship for the 5th time. Scores are locked at level at the end of full time. And in the end, Sydney were able to come up with a win through Shea Connors, who was able to slide through the ball past Melissa Barbieri to send Sydney a goal clear. And the other good story which took place in the Super Netball today, the Melbourne Mavericks, the new side, have won their first ever win. And against the odds, victory against the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So their 3rd consecutive loss. But the Mavericks on the board, 65 goals to 64. And the players are pretty visible.
On the road by a goal is a good way to get your first win, isn't it? Against a team that's been a powerhouse in that competition for recent seasons.
Absolutely. And the players, visually, you could see it meant so much to them to finally get their first breakthrough win. On the SMS and the Twitter line, Sir Swamp Thing, and we know he does all things stats. Round 13, 2022, the last time we had a goalless quarter. I think I remember calling that one. It was the 4th quarter in which Essendon played Carlton. If my memory serves me correctly, that was actually a milestone match for the Bombers. They were celebrating on that occasion, but Carlton claimed the win. And on the SMS, plenty of thoughts coming through as well. So keep them coming. 0437 774 774. Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson are your experts tonight. What are we going to see in this second half? I mean, it's a calibre of 1 versus 4th. It feels like the contest deserves a little bit better than what we've seen, but maybe that's a reflection of the pressure in which both sides are bringing.
This is going to come down to an effort game, I feel. Both teams are evenly matched. They're got some great players at either end of the ground. Their midfields are evenly matched at this stage. I can't see an area of the ground where the other one will exploit the other one enormously. So it's going to come down to which team can give 100% effort, and if they slacken off slightly, can the other team then make the most of that? I'm looking at the Cats down there at the moment, and their sub is Gary Rowan. Now, to me, he's almost a perfect sub, because when he plays a full game, you probably don't see him for 3/4, and then he'll jump up and do something, tear the game apart.
He's like the sub anyway.
Yeah, he is as a sub who plays 4/4. He'll do 2 speckies and run past and kick one from 55.
Possibly get injured.
Yeah, potentially. So I'm looking forward to him coming on, and if it's close at the end, he could be a bit of a difference maker in the end. But whichever team cannot maintain their defensive pressure and has any sort of form of lapses, I think the other one is good enough to exploit.
I guess we should count ourselves lucky, Joel, because in the Adelaide Football League there was a match between Fitzroy and Elizabeth. Fitzroy kicked 82 goals, 24. That adds up to 516. Elizabeth Kes scoreless.
Was there one player who kicked like 50?
Oh, I think someone booted, nearly 30 goals or something. But that was in the Adelaide Footy League Division 6.
That's sort of Campbell's Creek versus Primrose, when Campbell's Creek kicked 100 goals, supposedly, about 35 years ago.
Like Archie Thompson having the scoring record for Australia.
Against American Samoa or something, on 27-0 or 33-0. Or...
He kicked 11 goals for in Australia against American Samoa, but it's going to stand forever and a day.
In the West, a goal to the Bombers. They lead by 4 points as we're set to get the second half underway here at the MCG. Melbourne by 5 points, 3-7-25 to Geelong 2-8-20. Here's Joel Peterson on ABC Sport.
So often in recent seasons, not a lot separated these two teams. Whether it be after the siren or late in the piece, there's been moments that matter. Maybe we're set for another one here. One of the all-time skew-if bounces from Andre Gianfagna in the middle.
I could have done that.
Absolutely. He just tosses it up the second time. Gawn and Stanley collide. Toe poke forward for the D's up toward Neil Bullen. Gets wrenched off it by Stewart, and he's going to earn a free kick. Here's the Demons. Live wire forward. Hands it off to Rivers. Cruising past. Immediately into Petrarca. He almost missed his boot from 35 metres out. It tumbles its way all the way to the goal square. Petty, sidestep, 1, 2, shimmy, shake, snap, miss. And we roll on. 12 straight behinds in the ball game. Why not, for old time's sake? D's by 6.
From the top of the goal square, Harrison Petty is going at 33% by foot at the moment.
Holmes brings the Geelong side back into play to Stewart. Kicks up towards Stengel, who works his way to the front in front of House to take the mark for Geelong. Thought about giving the hand pass to Holmes, who was running the boundary. Changes his mind and comes back inboard. Zach Guthrie takes the mark. Releases Stewart, who turns it over. His kick is marked by Petrarca. Melbourne on the counter-attack. Works it over the top to Sparrow. He gathers it right half forward. Takes the bounce. Pickett leads into the pocket. He goes longer than that. Petty the target. Getting back. Sam de Koning gets a hand onto it. Jack Henry races after it. Taps it over the boundary line to throw in. Up against the left behind post. Melbourne thought they had the opportunity there. The Demons by 6 points.
It's great defending by the Cats. There was 3 Cats defenders and 4 Melbourne forwards, but they spaced themselves really well, so the only kick was a long one over the top, which gave de Koning time to get back and spoil.
Max Holmes, the game high 16 possessions for the Cats. Clayton Oliver's got 15 for the D's. Tossed back in, Blitzarves in ruck. Petrarca shows them a clean pair of heels and makes it 13 consecutive behinds between these two teams. 3-9-27 Melbourne, 2-8-20 Geelong. We always chart goals, Clinchy, as commentators. Not often I'm charting behinds in a game consecutively.
No, I like that you're across it, and we are all as well now as Zach Guthrie looks to bring Geelong back into play. Who will stand up under immense pressure here? He kicks out wide. It's an awkward ball for Matt Scorn. Beautifully taken by the Demons captain on the half volley. Hand pass to Petrarca from 45. Vacant goal square. Goes himself. And another one. Petrarca with back-to-back behinds. Melbourne lead by 8 points, and that is 14 behinds in a row.
We had a really ordinary start to this third term. A lot of mistakes. Balls hitting the floor when they should be hitting hands. A lot of, just really mistake-riddled.
The only people happy with this are Port Adelaide, who kicked 5 goals 18 on Thursday night. They're saying, gee, it's not just us.
They've been one of the worst defenders all season. Dees will get another chance here. Sparrow, an 8-metre kick around the body to Neil Bullen. Fritsch by hand to Billings. Billings, a high kick up and down the mine shaft to full forward, reaching up. Gawn, almost spilt the Petrarca. Top of the goal square for the Cats. Jack Henry a fumble. Petty wraps him up, brings him down. How does the umpire see it? He sees it as a neutral. And we'll have a ball up on the point of the square. Demons deep into attack. It's an equal game-high 8-point lead. Petty missed it in ruck. De Koning flicks it out toward the boundary line by hand in defence for the Cats. Neil Bullen grabs Zach Guthrie. He's not coming away. This time a ball up 35 metres out from that Melbourne goal.
4 zip inside 50s to Melbourne to begin this third term. Geelong just haven't been able to get possession.
Petty and De Koning. De Koning went down the tap to Blitzhouse, knocks it on to Tui. The Geelong defender a clearing kick. Sparrow dropped the mark. Ollie Henry gathers for Geelong. Kicks a vacant space out through the middle of the MCG. Leading the foot race for Melbourne is McVee's brought down by Clark. Play on the call. Kolajassi gets a hand pass forward to Dempsey. Here go the Cats. Hand pass to Hawkins. Kicks for Cameron. Can't complete the mark. Making the spoil, Tom McDonald. A little toe poke. Ollie Henry can't get it through. And Melbourne repel through Jake Lever. Kicks out to Fritsch at right half back for the Demons. Melbourne by 8 points.
That was amazing spoil by Tom McDonald there.
Oh, Fritsch's kick is aggressive to Oliver at the top of the defensive 50. Handed it off to Lever, who had to go with Ollie Henry closing in. Flares the kick out wide to Langdon. It bounces twice before he picks it up. He's galloping down the outer side wing, is Ed Langdon. All the space in the world. He lopes toward 50 and sends it to Gawn, who's marked inside the arc at the junction of the 50 and the boundary. He stands on the AstroTurf right up against the fence. The security guard makes room for him. We know he can give them a roost, but this would really take one of the skipper's best. He elects that discretion's the better part of valour, and he sends it back inboard to Sparrow. He's 65 from home. Now they'll reset. Kick back to May for the Demons in the middle. They lead by 8. 5 gone third term.
Stephen May looks for options. Leading out. Chandler takes the mark. He's slightly right of centre. 45 metres out from goal. There's good patience in the end from Melbourne. Stephen May recognised he had a couple of metres on Cam Guthrie.
Tommy Hawkins was getting back and trying to fill the hole, but he had his back to the leading player, so he just couldn't move those couple of metres sideways to get in the way.
Had a season-low 9 disposals last week, Kay Chandler. There's more tackles than disposals so far tonight. 3 tackles, 2 disposals. Looking for the first goal since the opening quarter. Chandler comes in from inside 50 and steers it straight through the middle. Hallelujah for everyone, as Melbourne extend their lead to 14 points. And a run, rather symmetrically, of 14 consecutive behinds comes to an end. The Demons 4-10-34 to Geelong 2-8-20. Kay Chandler is on the board for the Demons.
And Kez, that ball started with Max Gawn outside the boundary line on the Brunton Avenue side of the ground. It went from there all the way virtually to the centre circle, back out the other half forward line, and a shot from 45 from the other side of the ground from Max Gawn. And really smart play there by Melbourne, and that's the way they would have drawn it up. Just don't bomb the ball in, maintain possession, there's no shot clock, be patient, and that was a perfectly drawn up bit of play there by Melbourne.
Let's go down to Rory Campbell.
The guys, Tanner Bruin had that shoulder issue just before half-time. He came out with the shoulder strapped at the start of the second half, went in for the second bounce. He's just come off, and it looks like he's been subbed out of the game. Gary Rowan is warming up, and looks like he's ready to come on.
Thanks, Rory. And Tom Stewart getting checked out by the physios downstairs as well. Demons won the stoppage clearance, but Holmes brings it back the other way for the Cats to Stengel up at high half forward, who cuts it infield to Bowes. Bowes has got it 60 from home in a central position for Geelong. Cameron's in the pocket. Dempsey's lurking deep as well. Sends it in that direction. Ollie Henry's up in front of them all. Almost pulled it in. May had it at his bootlaces. Lever, handball to Bowes. In fact, Howes around the corner. Big fly from Zach Guthrie. Pulls it out of the night sky for the Cats. 60 from home. Sends it back inside the arc. Reaching up. Couldn't take the mark, Clark. Spills now to Stengel. He's 30 from home. Shakes and bakes. Spins his way to the left forward pocket. Oh, that's a brilliant finish. He waited for it all to unfold in front of him. Tyson Stengel turned his back to goal, ran toward the boundary line, and off the instead curled it home with his left boot. His second, and they've both been as classy as you'd like. 3-8-26 Geelong. Melbourne 4-10-34. The Cats' first goal since the 11-minute mark of the opening term.
It's every defender's worst nightmare, I reckon, Burke. It'd be Tyson Stengel twisting and turning, changing direction, turning you inside out as a defender and then finishing on the left. That is an incredible finish. Given the lack of finishing that we saw in that second term, that's more like that'll get the crowd up and about. But again, we just see the patient build-up. Both teams, Melbourne, that last entry that ended up with Chandler in the goal, and the same here, just repeat entries, patient, putting the ball to the advantage of their forwards. This is what the fans have paid their ticket to come and see, and I hope we see more of it.
I think that's what they call dancing in the dark, as Trent Rivers and Harrison Petty had no idea as Tyson Stengel ran laps around them. Petrarca with a shoveling hand pass forward, 30 metres, a Polly Farmer hand pass. Zach Guthrie for Geelong, kicks off the outside of the boot in the middle of the ground. Atkins tries to charge his way through, got past Sparrow but not Petrarca. He fights for the loose footy. The Melbourne number 5 tries to knock it out to Van Rooyen. He's over the top of it now, spills out, Bowes with a hand pass to Duncan, kicks Geelong out to the wing, Windsor gathers, nice sidestep for the youngster, hand pass inboard to Rivers, looks inside 50, blazes a long kick, slipping over Turner, De Koning spoils it down to College Asney. Geelong in the right back pocket, Zach Guthrie with a long clearing kick, touched off the boot, Langdon races after it and gathers, gets the hand pass away, Woden pokes the kick looking for Neil Pullen. Blitzhouse is able to easily reach across and spoil it out of play. Left forward pocket for Melbourne. The Demons by 8 points. 9 minutes gone. Third quarter on ABC Sport.
It's gone up a notch here. The tackle pressure's just been completely dialed up by both teams.
Thoughts of Kes Peterson alongside Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport. John Peterson, Matt Clinch calling the footy. Rory Campbell on the boundary. Blitzards a clearing kick after doing the ruck work. May slid in at half forward for the D's, couldn't take it. Hawkins trapped it for the Cats at half back, releases Duncan by hand. Duncan cruising through the middle, kick looked for close at centre half forward, standing in the way was Lever, picked it up, fended off and then blasted it back the other way for the D's. Billings has got it, broadcast side wing, poked it 8 metres on the bounce to Turner. He was good enough to flick it over the top to Windsor. Demons running in numbers now. Billings has got it, left foot kick to the pocket, measured perfectly for Langdon, who's running across the 50, sliding toward the boundary as he pulled it in. 45 from home, tight angle, thought about going. Now he takes a couple of steps behind the mark.
Had a couple of short ones he thought about giving. Potentially could have, but ignored both of them.
What a massive goal kicker, Ed Langdon. 69. In his 165th game this evening. And strike this from just inside the 50. A couple of paces inside the boundary line. Ed Langdon kicked it like he had no other option. And kicked it like he meant it. Beautiful set shot from just inside the arc. Langdon strikes his third of the season. And the Demons are back out by that 14-point spread. 5-10-40 to the Cats, 3-8-26. 11.5 played third term. Saturday night footy at the MCG on ABC Sport.
Come back to the middle there, Kez. A couple of plays prior, it was Mitch Duncan running through the middle. I think he had Close running forward, and he tried the little dinky kick over the top and just missed him and was intercepted by Lever. And then quickly, whoosh, the ball goes down the other end of the ground. And I think that's what we're going to see in this second half. And if you don't take your chances, the other team will make you pay.
Lever with the fend-off on Brad Close at half-back. Meanwhile in the West, Essendon by 22 points against the West Coast Eagles. Now Jack Viney was ducked in a sling tackle. And the free kick will go against Jack Bowes. And the ball will be returned to Jack Viney, just defensive side of the centre circles. Melbourne by 14 points, 2 goals, 3 to Geelong's 1 goal so far in this third quarter. Viney drives Melbourne deep into attack. Gawn stuck behind. Blitzhouse spoiled it down. A chance for Geelong as it's knocked out. Clayton Oliver with a little topo. Onto it Holmes. Pickett onto him. Swings into the turf. Pickett back onto it. Quick as a flash. He's locked up. 25 metres out from Melbourne's goal. And the umpire will ball it up.
Blitzhouse has lifted his work rate. He was involved in that ruck contest and made his way all the way down to D50.
Tossed up. Blitzhouse is there in the ruck inside the defensive 50. Somehow got it to Holmes, throwing his boot and his arm at it. Holmes outside the defensive 50. to Tui and now to Rowan, who, as Rory Campbell told us from the boundary, has been subbed into the game for Geelong and immediately making an impact. Swings his kick into the centre of the ground and finds Duncan. Duncan finds Cam Guthrie, links up with his fellow Sunbury boy in Blitzarves, who comes back to Cam Guthrie right on the edge of the 50, pokes it inside the arc and finds Ollie Henry, who'd be 10 in from the boundary line and maybe 4 or 5 paces beyond the chalk of the 50. So a kick from right on the arc at left half forward.
Really clever kick by Rowan back on the half-back line. He took a risk. He went into the middle of the ground, but it completely opened up the Melbourne defence, and they've worked it all the way to the opposite side of the ground where Henry's having a shot.
3 goals won last week for Ollie Henry. 5 times this season he's kicked multiple goals in a game, and that is a wonderful set shot kick. He drives it through from long distance, and all of a sudden, after 14 consecutive behinds, they cannot miss, these two teams. 4 goals on the bounce between them, and we've traded blows here in this third term. 5-10-40 Melbourne, the Cats 4-8-32, the D's by 8, 14 and a half gone in this third term on ABC Sport.
Well, you've got to feel sorry a little bit for Max Gawn, because that was Blitzarves, his opponent, sprinting down the middle of the ground. So when Blitzarves isn't there, Reece Stanley plays the same role. He's got licence to sprint forward at every opportunity, and they've even been throwing De Koning in there as well, who's got licence to sprint forward. So Big Max has got a big job in front of him, but just on that occasion, Blitzarves was just that little bit too quick for him.
Becomes the third individual goal kicker for the Cats. Tyson Stengel with a couple. Back in the middle of the ground. Clayton Oliver lays the tackle on Cam Guthrie. And the umpire will do it once more in the outer of the centre circles.
So 4 goals in 6 minutes here, clinching this third term. Between the first and the third term, we had 1 hour and 9 minutes of actual time between goals in the game.
I don't think we'll look back at that period, as Clark can't break away. He's locked up by Kade Chandler, and the umpire will ball it up. Melbourne have got out by 14 points on 2 occasions, only for Geelong to answer straight back. Max Gawn wins down the tap for Melbourne. Guthrie, Zach Tui couldn't take it for Geelong. Cosy Pickett 1-2 with Clayton Oliver. Kicks up towards half forward, and Max Holmes read it best. Comes inboard to Graham Myers. He marks to the back edge of the centre square for Geelong. Myers kicks around his body. A precise kick that found Cam Guthrie. Sliding in, just gathered before it hit the turf. Back to Myers. He chips it up to Clark, edge of the centre square. Hand pass to Holmes. Swings back onto his right from 45. Goes for home. He might have got it there. Hawkins doing some shoveling on the goal line. He caught to Stephen May in the all clear. And the Cats with back-to-back goals in this third quarter to close it into a 2-point ball game, Melbourne's way. 5-10-40 to Geelong, 5-8-38. 16 minutes gone, third quarter on ABC Sport.
I'm just watching Blitzarve come to the bench. I reckon one of 2 things has happened. Either the coaching staff have pulled the trigger and said, righto, Blitzarve, we want you to get involved in the game, or they've gone to him and said, you need to work harder and get yourself involved in the game. He only had 4 touches in that first half, and he's already up to 4 touches. And he's been really prolific through the middle of the ground. But, gee, that was an exciting passage of play from Geelong, Berkey. Just the way that they were able to keep the ball in motion. And they went back to that handball receive game that they were doing in the first term.
I have a score review here. And I reckon this might get waved off, because Stephen May's got a hand to that, and the ball hasn't crossed the goal line.
So rather than the umpire calling for a score review, we do it while the ball is heading back to the middle of the ground. Everyone was set for the ball up, and it will be returned to Stephen May in the defensive goal square. Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Joel mentioned some treatment that Tom Stewart was getting a little earlier. He's got a heavily strapped quad. He came back on the ground a short time ago. He wasn't exactly leaping like it, because they're very economical in his movement at the moment.
Thanks, Rory. So made a kick in after getting the last gasp touch in there for the D's. That's where the system can work. Let the goal umpire make a decision. If they get it wrong, then you have the function to overturn it as it goes back into the middle, especially for goals. We just don't need to be holding up the play when they're being reviewed anyway. He's possessing it in the back 50 here. Oliver to May. Look at that for a kick. It's an absolute laser. 60-metre kick hits Billings in stride on the wing for the D's. Out of sight of the ground, he pops it over the top to Pickett. who goes back behind the mark just forward of halfway. Pops it now for Viney. Tried to pull it in. A couple of juggles at it. Defensive hand pass to Billings. Billings off a step. High footy just inside the 50. Jack Henry forced his way to the front. Dropped it on the way through. Fritsch goes the handball over the top. Then Royan comes up at it. He goes by hand to Viney. 45 from home. Standing start. Windsor! Caleb Windsor back with the fly. Takes the mark in the right forward pocket. Wouldn't be more than 15 out.
You have to see that non-paid mark. I think it was to Henry over on the other side of the ground, because all the Geelong players, they stopped. And Melbourne kept moving forward once they realised that the ball was still in play. But Geelong defenders certainly thinking they were a bit stiff with that decision.
Yeah, it is. It should be 50 to Geelong. Henry marked the ball, and I think it was Pickett ran past and did a Kyrie Irving and knocked it out of his hands.
So, absolute line ball at one end, and Windsor lets the Cats off the hook at the other. Maybe a little bit of football injustice in that. 8-point lead to the D's, 5-11 to 4-9, 19 gone, third term on ABC Sport.
Mitch Duncan quickly brings John back into play, kicks towards Bowes, can't complete the mark. Petrarca made the spoil, spills out to Windsor, back to Petrarca, brushes the tackle, turns and drives it inside 50. Van Rooyen in the goal square, Billings flies as well, and offhands it goes through for a minor score. Melbourne by 9 points as we tick past the 20-minute mark of this third quarter. The Demons have booted 2 goals 5 to Geelong's 2-1 in this third term.
Myers marks the kick in. Inside the defensive 50, hands it off to Bowes, to Jack Henry, who got run down by Windsor. Holding the ball, Petrarca takes it for the Demons, sends it back inside the 50. And that is a mark to Max Holmes. There's no two ways about that. He immediately kicks to De Koning down the line to Dempsey. The lookalikes combine on the broadcast side wing. Dempsey's got it right in front of the interchange gates. He's now called to go. Loads up on the right boot to the edge of the arc. Puts the Cats into attack. Toe poke forward by Bowes. Knocked on by Ollie Henry inside the forward 50. But McPhee's there for the Demons. Handball away quickly to Woden, to Sparrow, to Neil Bullen. And they can bounce off half-back here, Melbourne.
Neil Bullen in the middle of the ground for Cossie Pickett. Van Rooyen streaming forward. Pickett takes the bounce. He might go himself from 50. Eyes the goals. And misses to the left-hand side. Tom Stewart was desperately racing back. Melbourne fans are out of their chair. Maybe he should have gone for the pass. The Demons by 10 points.
He just got caught in indecision, Clinchy. Probably could have ran another maybe 15 or 20 metres as well when he eyed up the goal, but he got caught in two minds. Should he pass? Should he have a shot? And in the end, he took the shot probably too early.
Oh, poor kick in as well from Stewart. Duncan couldn't handle it. Made him really work, and it goes off hands out of play for a throw in right forward pocket for the D's.
That was one of those, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. He had 2 to pass to. He thought, no, I'll take it on myself. And he missed.
Bozeman pointing back toward goal. Whether he thought they were saying have a shot or just put it in that area. Ball tossed back inside forward 50 for Melbourne. Neil Bullen off the right, flicks it over his head blindly, taken by Bowes. Outletting kick to Tui, and the Cats have got an absolute paddock. The whole of the Princess Freeway out there on the outer side. Tui kicks down the line for Close, who marks right on halfway. He chips it in field for De Koning. And they continue to generate overlap run. Myers drills it inside the 50. Rowan over the back, can't take the mark. Spills to Cameron, feeds it back to Rowan. Rowan now into the forward pocket. Ollie Henry with a chance. Snaps, got it. Couple for Ollie Henry. And the Cats do get that goal they needed so badly. They pull the margin back to 4 points behind Melbourne. 5-9-39 to 5-13-43. 22 minutes played third term. Saturday night footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Kes Peterson and Nathan Burke.
Well, Kes, I think we said before, if Melbourne had drawn up a play to get a goal, we saw that. If Geelong drew up a play how to get a goal, that is what we saw just then. Numbers back in defence. Zach Tui really smart, just set out by himself on the fat side of the ground. And once he got it, you know that he's going to actually hit a target down the field. And then they brought the ball indoors really, really quickly. Still maintain the pace on the ball, though. You can kick the ball short, but still maintain pace. And if you get an opportunity to play on, they did. And in the end, it was Ollie Henry was a lovely left foot snap from the boundary line.
In the West, it's Essendon who lead by 22 points against the West Coast Eagles. Max Gawn gets the clearance. Out to Christian Petrarca. Hand pass inside 50. Neil Bullen sells it around Tom Stewart and misses to the left-hand side. A relatively simple shot from 45, maybe 40 metres out from goal. The chance goes begging. Melbourne still lead by 5 points. Chris Scott looking rather bemused as to how easy Melbourne had that shot on goal.
He won't get many easier than that tonight, I don't think, Clinchy. It might come down to opportunities and who makes the most of them tonight.
Zach Guthrie, long kick outside the defensive 50 toward Blitzarves, who plays on and kicks it straight to Stephen May. Guthrie was infringed upon in the marking contest. May chips it infield to McDonald. Joel Peterson, Matt Clinch calling the footy for you on ABC Sport. Rory Campbell downstairs. 7 All-Australians in our experts, Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson. McDonald plays on and drives a long footy inside the 50 for the D's. Oh, attacking it hard was Petty. 2 hands to it for a long time and couldn't pluck it. Jack Henry's over the top of the footy. De Koning's there as well. The tackle laid by Vine. He's so often in that position. Blitzarves isn't coming away. And a ball up just inside the arc for Melbourne.
Demons by 5 points. Gawn wins down the tap to Neil Bullen. Hand pass to Rivers. Kicks off the fat part of the footy. Straight up in the air. Flying was Dempsey. He dropped the mark. Little topo. Slipping over with Stewart. He was taken high. Turner claimed him over the shoulder. Tom Stewart slowly gets to his feet to take the free kick. Having missed with concussion, he chips it over the top to Tom Atkins. Newmark's still 40 metres out from Geelong's defensive goal. Works it through the middle of the ground to Mitch Duncan. It's centre half back, he kicks out to Holmes. It opens up now in front of him. Dempsey's free, centre wing southern side. Takes the mark, in 2 minds. Decides to work it forward to Clark. He marks it right half forward for Geelong. Cats trailing by 5 points. Jai Clark looking for options inside a congested forward 50. Kicks to the right forward pocket. Stanley's there. Cameron in from the side. Almost takes the mark. Spills down. Stanley's hand pass. Close. Cameron lays the tackle over the shoulder of Sparrow. And the nuggety Melbourne midfielder will take it in the left back pocket.
We got our wish and said Jeremy Cameron, yes, stay forward inside 50 and engage Tom McDonald. The problem is the ball hasn't come down there. That's 8 inside 50s to 16 in favour of Melbourne.
Sparrow's kick turned over. Holmes sends it inside the 50 and Hawkins is stretching to mark right at the junction of the 50 and the boundary. Tom Hawkins will go back and take his kick. Missed one earlier in the piece in that second term. As Clinchy said, very few and far between the occasions he's been held goalless for 3 consecutive weeks in his storied career. He's not going to have the shot here. He chips it to a 2-on-1, not favouring Geelong. Cameron was the target. McVie scoots away with the footy. Handballs to Langdon in the back pocket. Handball back to McVie. Now outside the defensive 50 to May, to Rivers. They link up by hand outside the back 50 to the southern wing. Great tackle from Turner. Dispossessed Holmes. Slaps it back through his legs. Looking for Stewart. Can't find him. Turner takes it away. Infield hand pass toward Neil Bullen.
It's gathered by Neil Bullen. Tackled by Atkins and thrown to the turf, and the umpire will throw it up. Centre wing on the Shane Warne stand side. Melbourne by 5 points. Tossed in the air. Mark Blitzarves got there first. One down the tap against Gawn. It spills down the way of Jack Viney. Around the body to half forward. The mark is taken by Daniel Turner. He's outside 50 in front of Tom Stewart. He veers out to the right. Kick is partially smothered by Blitzarves. Windsor sets himself. Play on the call. Spills to Sparrow. His kick is smothered. Geelong through close. Gets the hand pass away. Rowan off the outside of the boot. Creative, and he finds Bowes in the left back pocket. Rory Campbell on the boundary.
Hey guys, the Geelong doctor ran out to Tom Stewart a short time ago. He is not running unless he absolutely has to, but he's still powering on at the moment.
I think that's pretty relatable in life generally, Rory. Thanks for that. As Hawkins takes it off the pack, off the hands of Stewart, feeds the handball to close. Now at left half forward, the Cats through Myers. Such a good user of it inside the arc. He got Cameron on the bounce there. It bounced off his chest of the Geelong spearhead. Howes was with him right there every step of the way on the edge of the defensive 50 for the D's. It rumbles around in a pack right on the edge of the arc. Cats waiting for it to come out, circling, willing it out. It won't. 3 Demons on top of that pack. Viney, Howes, Sparrow pull themselves up off the MCG turf. And we'll have a ball up. D's by 5 points. 27.5 gone third term. Topo clear by Windsor. Coming back in through Myers to Clark. Sends it to full forward. Sends it all the way. Jai Clark with a bomb from outside 50. Puts the Cats ahead and kicks his first goal at the top level. The Queenscliff kid with a stunner from outside 50. And the Cats are a point to the good. 6-9-45 to the D's 5-14-44. 28.5 gone through the third term on ABC Sport.
Well, because Brian Myers didn't have a really big first half. It was really sight of it. This half in particular, this quarter, he's had 6 possessions, 5 kicks, 3 score involvements, and a couple of short kicks through the middle of the ground in the last couple of goals. So that one was just a really short, nifty handball out and created some space to finish off with a goal. The play before that, he wanted Jeremy Cameron to lead at him, and he would have hit Jeremy Cameron on the chest. I think he's really picked up his rating in this second half and making a difference.
Geelong with 4 of the last 6 goals in the match. Max Gawn just sharks it forward, gains 30 metres. Tom Atkins onto it for Geelong. Half pass away to Bose, kicks out towards Dempsey on the wing, who is held. Free kick against Ed Langdon. And Ollie Dempsey pushes back behind his mark. Geelong 6-9-45 to Melbourne 5-14-44. As Dempsey gives the hand pass away to Zach Guthrie. Works it up forward to brother Cam Guthrie. Kicks up towards the lead at right half forward. And Brian Myers takes the mark. He dances around the player on the mark and kicks to Bose. He marks in the right forward pocket. And Jack Bose with a chance to try to extend Geelong's lead just ahead of three-quarter time.
There's your man again, Burke. He just makes the right decision, doesn't he? Always looking for his teammates, lower his eyes, and Bose did a good job. He just found himself in a little bit of space and led back at the ball, and that's the difference between the good forwards and the average forwards, is when they come back at the ball, they just completely take the defender out of the equation.
Here's the big signing, of course, from the Gold Coast Suns, plus pick 8. Out to the right, looking to return the faith. He comes in. Not a bad effort, just misses to the right-hand side. And Geelong hold a 2-point advantage. 30 minutes gone. Third quarter on ABC Sport. Meanwhile, in the West, half-time there. A 22-point lead the Bombers' way.
So May to bring it in for the D's. Geelong have swung the game late in this term. Long kick into half-back. Will spill the way of Myers, who's been in everything in the last few minutes. He's Nathan Burke and Kes Peterson have told you. Viney's on the bottom of the pack. And the siren sounds for three-quarter time. It was a late rush from Geelong after a goalless second term. The Cats kicked 4-2 in that quarter. They kicked back-to-back goals on a couple of occasions. Melbourne kicking 2 goals of their own, but were wasteful in front of the sticks, kicking 2-7. And at three-quarter time, we turn for home with this game poised on a knife edge. Only 2 points in it. The Cats 6-10-46 to Melbourne 5-14-44, and these two teams look set to go down to the wire once more. Tyson Stengel has 2 for Geelong. Goals also to Holmes, to Clark, to Henry and to Toohey. And for Melbourne, Ed Langdon has 1, Bailey Fritsch has 1, Harry Petty, Cozzy Pickett, Kay Chandler has a goal as well.
So the Cats with a couple of multiple goal scorers, Ollie Henry and Tyson Stengel. Demons with 5 individual goal kickers. But it's Geelong who lead by 2 points at three-quarter time. Great to have your company on Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Here's my top footy tip for the season. You can get your games live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. I know, right? AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team. This season on the home of 100% pure footy, the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match. match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Stephen May looks for options, leading out. Chandler takes the mark. Looking for the first goal since the opening quarter. Chandler comes in from inside 50 and steers it straight through the middle. Hallelujah for everyone.
Howes around the corner. Big fly from Zach Guthrie. Pulls it out of the night sky for the Cats. 60 from home. Sends it back inside the arc. Reaching up. Couldn't take the mark. Clark spills now to Stengel. He's 30 from home. Shakes and bakes. Spins his way to the left forward pocket. Oh, that's a brilliant finish. Myers drills it inside the 50. Rowan over the back. Can't take the mark. Spills to Cameron. Feeds it back to Rowan. Rowan now into the forward pocket. Ollie Henry with a chance. Snaps. Got it. Topo clear by Windsor. Coming back in through Myers to Clark. Sends it to full forward. Sends it all the way. Jai Clark with a bomb from outside 50.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time at the MCG. Geelong hang on to a 2-point advantage, having come from behind in that third quarter, kicking 4 goals to 2-7. The Cats 6-10-46 to Melbourne 5-14-44. Great to have your company on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Joel Peterson calling the action. Rory Campbell down on the boundary. The thoughts of our experts. AFLW Carlton captain Kez Peterson and Australian Football Hall of Fame member Nathan Burke.
Berkey, I don't reckon Geelong probably have any right to be leading this game. If you have a look at the way that third quarter was played, they ended up going down in the clearances by 3 and they were down 4 inside 50s. The problem for Melbourne was that they just weren't able to convert. They kicked 2 goals 7 and were just really wasteful in front of goal, whereas conversely, Geelong were really good. They were really exciting with their ball movement and they made great decisions when they went inside forward 50. The other thing that they did really well was they shared it around. Unselfish play. I mean, we spoke at the start of the game about the influence of Jeremy Cameron through the start of the season. He hasn't had a huge influence in today's game and probably rightly so, could have had a shot from the pocket, but instead he chose to handball. It led to another handball. It led to the Ollie Henry goal that he kicked from the pocket. There's another one with was young Clark when he kicked that goal from just outside forward 50. Blitzard's had a match-up that was a mismatch in the pocket, in the square it was actually, and probably had every right to have a go at the mark, and no one would have thought anything of it, but instead he chose to shepherd the ball through and his young teammate got to kick a goal. So Geelong, incredibly impressive. What was so good about it was that they got back to what they did in that first term, which was the overlap run, the handball received. Max Holmes got really, really busy. He ended up with 8 touches. No, sorry, yeah, it was 8 touches and 2 score involvements in that third term. And you highlighted Brian Myers. He also had 8 touches and 4 score involvements. He was probably the difference in the end with his decision-making going inside forward 50.
Both teams, when they bring the ball back through the corridor, through the middle part of the ground, look really, really dangerous. And that's one of the things that Myers does really, really well. He can spin the ball back at different angles and find loose plays better than probably anyone else out there on the ground today. But I think it's just going to come down to you've got to defend like your life depends on it, and you've got to attack like you've got nothing to lose. And which team can actually do both sides of the contest, because it's neither side is in the position where they can just sit back and maintain the footy and just take a rest. Both need to all-out attack in order to beat the other one. So I think we're in for a fascinating last quarter.
Who wins? Berkey and Kez?
I'm gonna go with Geelong. But just the way that they got going in that third term, their ball movement just looks far more damaging when they go forward. Even though the Demons had more opportunity in that term, they got gifted one that probably should have resulted in a Geelong 50. Instead, it was decided that it was a drop mark, which on replay it certainly wasn't. But I think Geelong wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go the D's. I just think they'll start kicking straight.
Of course, as we said, a couple have come down to kicks after the siren. Zach Toohey and Max Gawn kicked famous winning goals after the siren between these two sides. Geelong leading by 2 points with the final term set in readiness. 0437 774 774 if you want to join us on the SMS line. Max Gawn and Reece Stanley readying themselves in the middle of the MCG. Clayton Oliver alongside Cam Guthrie. Cosy Pickett in the middle alongside Jack Bowes. Tom Atkins and Christian Petrarca on either side. Final term underway. Stanley charges into Gorn, who wins down the tap, but straight to Cam Guthrie. Kick over the fingertips of Brian Myers. Cameron tries to knock it on. Stengel through traffic. Kicks off the outside of the boot. Windsor got a touch onto it. Got it down to Lever. Hand pass to Clayton Oliver. Links up with Cosy Pickett at halfback. Kicks a high ball up the southern wing. In front, good mark, Zach Guthrie. As he looks into the middle of the ground, he missed Jeremy Cameron. Got enough time to regather. Kicks off the outside of the boot. Melbourne are well set. And Stephen May takes the mark in front of Tom Hawkins.
Jams his kick to the back edge of the centre square for Chandler. May with 21 disposals, the most for Melbourne in the ball game. Max Holmes has got 24, the most of anyone. 21 of them have been kicks. Now Petty, who extends and marks. Broadcast side right on halfway. Drives his kick up toward half forward. De Koning and Fritsch, the matchup he was looking for. De Koning took it at ground level, flicked the handball over the top to Kolajasny. He got it to Stanley, curls his kick around the body. Stewart pulls in a strong mark. Had Billings draped all over him. And the Cats champ is able to drag it in. Offloads to Guthrie, who kicks it smack bang into Max Gawn. It ricochets out of play and it'll be thrown back in between the wing and left half forward for the D's.
Jeremy Cameron still playing forward against Tom McDonald.
Toss back into play. Max Gawn flicks it over the back. Sparrow trying to get a little toe poke onto it. Clayton Oliver through traffic. Now lays the tackle on Tom Atkins and the umpire will ball it up. Left half forward for the Demons. Heading to the punt road end in this final term. Geelong by 2 points. Thrown into the night sky. Gawn tries to take it out of the ruck. Shovels a hand pass forward. Awkward bouncing ball for Chandler. He can't keep it in play as he and Atkins with Jack Bowes see it out of play.
Interesting that we haven't really got a midfielder who's dominating. They're all just playing pretty good average games, but no one's up around 35, 40 possessions or anything like that, which is good to see.
Thoughts of St Kilda champion Nathan Burke with you on ABC Sport. Gawn wins it down to his feet, but it's taken by Atkins of the Cats. His handball goes amiss. Picked up by Oliver of the Demons. Hooks the kick around his body and Gawn plucks the mark. 54 metres from home. Here's Big Max. What's he got leading up? Not a lot. So he gives it an almighty thumb. And he stands with his arms outstretched at the top of the 50. Having driven one through to the max. Gawn whacks it from distance and hands Melbourne back the lead to start the final term. 6:14.50. The Cats 6:10.46. 3 minutes played at the MCG.
I reckon Big Max has said to himself at three-quarter time, I've been really well held. I've had 7 touches and I've gone at 50% disposal efficiency for the first 3 quarters. I need to do something to get my team some sort of energy. I've got to give him something, and it started with the smother out here on the wing, and from there he's had hit out, clearance, and then he's just finished with an almighty roost from about 60 out. He's certainly got his team on his back at the moment, and he's leading the charge in this 4th term.
Rory Campbell on the boundary. Melbourne looking to make their sub.
That's right. Bailey Laurie has just run onto the ground. I think it's Jack Billings who's moved to the back seat, team.
Thanks, Rory. The Cats made their sub in that 3rd quarter with Tanner Bruin out of the match and Gary Rowan coming in. The Demons get their noses back in front by 4 points through Max Gawn. He's in the middle of the ground here competing with Reece Stanley. It spills back to Gawn. His kick is smothered. Bowes is onto it. Kicks up toward Cameron. Awkward half volley. Tackled by Tom McDonald. Kicks it up to Ollie Henry trying to slap it forward. But Clayton Oliver for Melbourne. Hand pass to McVee. Links up with Ed Langdon. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Windsor marks. Hand pass to Petrarca. Through the middle of the MCG. Kicks for Fritsch on the lead. And the Melbourne Spearhead takes the mark in front of Kolajasny. In the left forward pocket, he'll shoot from 35 metres out.
Again, great use of the corridor from Melbourne. Could have gone wide, had players out wide, but they chose, I think it's Langdon, decided to keep the ball in the middle of the ground and ends up with Petrarca. And that's it's a defender's nightmare with Petrarca running through the middle ground unattended.
The applause you can hear is from Max Gawn, who's come to the bench. Bailey Fritsch has kicked multiples in his last 5. The Demons need him here. Fritsch comes in and steadies for Melbourne. the last 2 goals of the match to open up a 10-point advantage in the final term and take the challenge up to the unbeaten Cats. Fridge with his second. Melbourne 7-14-56 to the Cats 6-10-46. You with Kes Peterson and Nathan Burke on ABC Sport.
Burke, you made the comment which was completely correct when you said that none of the midfielders, particularly from Melbourne, have really got hold of this game as far as, you know, big numbers of disposals, but what they are is really high quality disposals. You saw Petrarca there coming through the middle of the ground. He's up to 9 score involvements, and Oliver's up to 8 himself. He's got 22 possessions. So the possessions that they are getting are really high quality, and what we're going to see, I think, in this fourth term is the creme of the creme rising to the top, and there's going to be some big moments in this last term, and they're the sort of blokes that you're going to want the ball in the hands of.
Last week it was the Cats who got away from Carlton early in the last and faced a challenge late. Can they have the shoe on the other foot this week? Dees with the clearing kick out of the middle. Neil Bullen jammed on his boot at half forward. Straight to Tui of the Cats. Sent it back the other way. Close comes sprawling in. Woden's over the top of him. Umpire says ball up. AFL logo broadcast side. Joel Peterson, Matt Cleach calling the action. Nathan Burke, Kes Peterson, your experts, and Rory Campbell on the boundary. Both rucks go to ground. Van Rooyen and Stanley. Demons win the clearance. Viney intelligently taps it over his head. Holmes knocks it back the other way. Then does the tackle on Viney. Got boot to ball though, did the Melbourne bullocking midfielder. Clark had a play at it. Then he turns tackler on Pickett, brings him to ground, and a ball up between the wing and the left half forward for the D's. First 2 of this last term to Melbourne. They lead by 10.
Toss in the air, Van Rooyen up against Stanley. Spills down the way of Sparrow, kicks to the top of the 50. Too slow! Penny gets him! No whistle as he throws his boot out at lying on his back, and eventually holding the ball is called. Harrison Petty gets the free kick, 55 metres out from Melbourne's goal.
Didn't have a lot of time to get rid of that one.
I know, they say the luck of the Irish as Petty looks inside 50 on the leader's Turner, spoiled away from him. Petrarca's after it. Holmes gets there first to Geelong, kicks up towards Ollie Henry and Lever with a tag of the arm, then gathers, sidesteps him. Beautiful from the Melbourne defender, looks inside 50, long kick towards Fritch and Petty. Petty can't take the mark. It spills to the front. Chandler's onto it, jags it onto his left, vacant goal square. Tom Stewart races back and gathers up against the behind line. The Geelong acting captain with a hand pass away to Jack Henry.
Henry whacks it outside the defensive 50, looking for his brother, and Ollie can't quite drag it in. It's off hands and over for a boundary throw-in, still locked in that forward half for the D's.
They're finding it hard to transition from one end of the ground to the other. Again, it's Melbourne's defensive structure making it really difficult for the Cats.
7-14 plays 6-10. Demons ahead, having kicked the first 2 here in this final term. Cats gain some territory from the stoppage, but only as far as Tom McDonald. And jabs his kick to Viney, right on halfway on the southern side. Beautiful clear night here at the MCG. Certainly cool, but it hasn't kept the spectators away. Viney to the edge of the 50 for Melbourne. De Koning reaches over the top and thumps it back the other way. Falls to Blitzarves. His handball forward. Back into traffic. A touch for Laurie. A little one for McVee. Now to Pickett. A grubber inside the forward 50. It's skilled Fritch. It was picked up by Tui. He exits the defensive 50 to Holmes at right half back for Geelong.
Got lucky there, the Cats. They had Bailey Fritch all by himself.
Melbourne by 10 points. It kicks out in front of Tyson Stengel, who keeps running, gets inside 50, looks up, centering kick. Ollie Henry, the target, he takes the mark. Great unselfish work from Tyson Stengel as he surveyed the options inside 50. And despite the late effort from Taj Woden, Henry takes the mark directly in front. 25 metres out from goal.
That was an enormous effort for Stengel. He ran all the way from the stoppage on the other side. It would have been a 150-metre sprint, real gut-busting running as he's coming to the bench now just to lead Lever.
2 goals in the third quarter for Ollie Henry to pull it back to a 4-point ball game. Henry directly in front, comes in and steers it through. Henry with his third, and the Geelong fight back is on. After 2 quick goals of the Demons, it's a 4-point ball game. 7-14-56 Melbourne to Geelong 7-10-52. Nathan Burke and Kes Peterson with you on ABC Sport.
Oh, how quickly fortunes can change. Pickett picks up the ball at centre half forward, turns around. He has Bailey Fritch standing all by himself 30 metres out, dead in front. He misses that kick, and then in the blink of an eye, it's down the other end, and Geelong are having a shot from exactly the same area that Bailey Fritz should be having a shot from. And Stengel, don't underestimate that kick that he made then, because Jeremy Cameron leading all around the forward line, and the tendency would be to go, I'm going to go to my gun, I'm going to go to Jeremy, but he didn't. He found a better target.
A couple of the heavyweights going blow for blow here at the MCG. Top 4 contenders. And they're treating us early in this final term. Clearing handball from Bowes at the stoppage, the restart, but it's picked up by Gawn. Hands it off to Viney inside the 50. Penny with one hand to it. Stewart comes crashing through. Brought down by Van Rooyen inside the back 50 for the Cats. Clearing kick from Tui, high up and down the mine shaft, up toward the interchange gates. Well done from Blitzars. Read it beautifully off the pack. Got it out wide to Bowes. Now to Myers and to Close, who pops it forward and finds Cameron in a dangerous spot. 75 from home at right half forward.
He has Hawkins and Rowan. Ollie Henry there. He drives it, looking for Close. He gets it to him. Despite Clayton Alder trying to fly in front of the pack, he missed it. And Trent Rivers throws his head back because Brad Close has a chance to put Geelong back in front.
Should never been able to mark that. There was 3 Melbourne defenders all within close proximity, but not close enough.
Geez, how good was the kick, though? He absolutely threaded the needle. He saw Close coming at him, and he needed to wait it to get over the top of one Melbourne defender, but in between 2 others. It was an incredible kick from Cameron.
Brad Close, goalless so far tonight. Starts his approach in the right forward pocket, comes in and returns Geelong to the lead. Cats are the last 2 goals of the match, and Geelong lead by 2 points. 8-10-58 to Melbourne 7-14-56, and this might be just starting to get good at the 12-minute mark of the final term.
I think we need to call out when players don't do the right thing by their teams, and this time it was Trent Rivers who was next to Close and trailed him inside 50, thinking that he's running back towards goal. There's no way he's going to get this ball, and just didn't push hard enough. Didn't push hard enough back, and his opponent gets a goal. And that's what happens in these tight games against good teams. You just switch off for half a second, and it'll bite you in the backside. And Trent Rivers, you got a chunk out of your butt.
5 lead changes on the night. Cats with the ascendancy once more. The middle and the restart. Both rucks missed it. Viney got the decisive tap in the end off the bounce, but strapped it straight to Clark. Handball off to Cam Guthrie. Sends it inside the 50 for Geelong. There's a shallow entry that was gobbled up by Lever. He's 40 out from his defensive goal. Walters outside the defensive 50. Kicks an absolute sack of a thing into the middle of the ground off the hands of Cam Guthrie. Picked up by Bowes. Back to Guthrie. Now to Blitzars. Back to Cam Guthrie. Lofts his kick to centre half forward and finds Rowan. 55 from home. Close is in the pocket again. He's going to have to fly against May. And that was a telling mark from the Melbourne defender. Immediately moves it on to Chandler, who's got it between the wing and left half back.
He looks up and Zach Tui is the loose across the wing, so he has to take his time and look for an option. There's a few Melbourne players in the middle of the ground. Okay, Chandler kicks as far as he can. Max Gawn the target, nudged underneath it by Stewart, but Penny takes the mark. Hand pass to Crosby Pickett. Van Rooyen leads towards him. Nudged underneath it by De Koning. Makes the spoil. Fritz charging through. Pickett through traffic. Onto his right. Crosby Pickett in his mess. Crosby Pickett with his step in, and Melbourne are back in front. Timing is run to perfection. The Demons by 4 points. 8-14-62 to Geelong. 8-10-58. 13 minutes gone. Final term on ABC Sport.
Well, point Melbourne. Back over to you, Geelong. You need to respond, and that was pretty ordinary. I haven't seen on the replay who was the Melbourne defender, but Cozzy was the one who kicked that in and just absolutely took off like a lightning rod forward and got on the end of it. That is terrific forward craft and great work rate from Cozzy Pickett, but equally pretty ordinary defence from Geelong. If someone like as electric as that is going to run past you, someone has to take responsibility for him. You cannot let him come into the forward 50 unopposed and ultimately get an uncontested possession and a really routine shot for a player as classy as Cozzy Pickett.
So again we go back and forth in this final term. Demons up by 4. Cats with the clearance from the restart. Atkins, handball forward. Langdon ran it down for the D's on the edge of the defensive 50. Handball's a dangerous one inside the arc. Stengel took it. He tried to find a Cats player on the end of his hand pass. He could only find Oliver. Gets it to Langdon. Shoots the kick outside the defensive 50 toward Laurie on the wing. Taken by Atkins off hands. High kick inside the arc for the Cats once more. Lever reads it beautifully. Gets the arms extended, pulls it in inside the defensive 50 and now shifts it across to Gawn. Melbourne 8-14-62. Cats 8-10-58. Halfway through this final term, it's a gripping one.
As Windsor in the pocket, kicks up towards Chandler. Jack Henry makes the spoil. Tui gathers into the pocket, finds Duncan. And Max Gawn cannons into him. Mitch Duncan bounces back to his feet. But this will take his best in the right forward pocket, 40 metres out from goal.
Really well played by Jack Henry. It was a 2-on-1 on the wing here, and he just had to make a contest. He just had to not be outmarked and bring the ball to ground. He was really well aided by a teammate. I think it was Guthrie who affected the turnover, and then they were able to string forward.
1 of 9 players over the age of 30 for Geelong. Mitch Duncan comes in and hangs it out to the right. Out of bounds on the full. No change to the score. Melbourne by 4 points. The Demons had 3 goals to 2 in the final term. Here's Joel Peterson.
Feet waste no time bringing you into May. Prolific as always tonight. Disposal number 24 is a long kick down the line, and again Petty, who's been impressive in the aerial duels this evening, pulls in another strong mark right on halfway for the Demons. Sends it to a 2-on-1 favouring Geelong. Turner brought it to ground, but it's all Cats at his feet. Holmes and De Koning. Back to Holmes by hand, kicks up the wing. Oliver had it ripped away by Duncan, but he infringed in the marking contest, did the Cat. And Clayton Oliver will take it from where the Anzac Appeal logo was this time, when the D's were last out here 10 days ago. Oliver chips it forward to Windsor. They lead by 4 points, Melbourne, looking to set up another attack as Windsor comes back in field to Oliver just in front of halfway.
Possession number 26 coming up for Clayton Oliver. As he looks inside 50, kicks towards Petty. In from the side, Jack Henry got a hand to it, clears to the back. Sam De Koning, hand pass away to Holmes, around the body, back up to Oliver. Gathers, tackle by Duncan, got it to Gawn. Hand pass chopped off by Graham Myers. Kicks off the outside of the boot to Close. He's tackled, locked up by Oliver and Woden. Every millimetre has to be won at this stage. Melbourne by 4 points in front of 51,795 fans at the MCG.
Gawn takes it out of the ruck, immediately hooks it over his shoulder up toward the forward 50. Petty goes to ground but slaps it on in the meantime. De Koning can't keep it in. We'll have a ball in at the junction of the 50 in the boundary, left half forward for Melbourne.
There's still 9 minutes to go, but it's at that stage where every contest is important. Every single stoppage, every ball up, you just think, who's going to win it? Who's going to win it? It's a fascinating game. 3 straight to 2 straight in this final term. Cats trail in that ledger, and they trail in the ball game at the moment by 4 on the edge of the arc. Woden pokes it to the pocket for the Demons. Fritsch had it for a moment. Atkins got run down by Windsor. Caught holding the ball. And the youngster gets the acclaim of his teammates. And will have a shot here to put his team 10 points to the good. Well, he just didn't give up. Young fella, Atkins had a couple of steps on him, but he just didn't give up, and that's what you need in the forward line. In games like this, you don't win the ball in the forward line, you've got to keep it in there at all costs, and fantastic tackle for the young fella.
Caleb Windsor had a shot at the other end in the third quarter and couldn't convert. 30-metre kick, 45-degree angle left of centre to put Melbourne 10 points ahead. He strikes it like a man beyond his years. And he's engulfed in red and blue jumpers. He's making a name for himself on the big stage is Caleb Windsor. And Melbourne out by 10 points, 9-14-68 to the Cats, 8-10-58. 4 goals to 2 in this final term for the D's. And Caleb Windsor's 3rd goal of his AFL career is a memorable one.
Well, I reckon the media team or people in charge of the Melbourne are going to be going to be messaging AFL House at the moment saying, excuse me, please, Caleb Windsor needs an AFL Rising Star nomination as we speak, because that is an outstanding effort from a young player on a really big stage, a really tight moment for his team. He's had an amazing game. He's had 18 touches, he's had 9 score involvements and kicked a goal. He's been outstanding.
The voice of Carlton AFLW captain Kez Peterson as Gawn gets the clearance. Hand pass to Sparrow, kicks up towards Neil Bullen at half forward. Can't take the mark. Tui tries to knock it out. On the half back line, it's Holmes who gets it to Clark. Hand pass to Geelong to Duncan. Back to Atkins. Keen to redeem himself. Drives the kick up towards Ollie Henry at half forward. In front, Lever can't take the mark. Spills to Tom McDonald. Gets the hand pass away to Lever. To Clayton Oliver. Dodging and weaving through traffic. Hand pass back to Lever. Kicks up towards the boundary line and Zach Guthrie takes the mark. Harrison Petty couldn't get there to make the contest. Reese kicking in the middle of the ground. Sparrow one way, Duncan the other. Duncan gathers, kicks for Ollie Henry. Lever with a crucial spoil. Gawn can't gather. Still a chance for the Cats. It's gathered by Hawkins. He kicks to Cameron. Turns provider. And Jeremy Cameron has the footy in his hands. Slightly right of centre. 35 metres out from goal.
With all the big guns got involved then, we had Lever. It was a fantastic effort to score, but Tommy Hawkins just stuck his foot in there and found somehow Jeremy Cameron just drifting down into the play. Tom McDonald has had far better of him for the whole game, but
Jeremy Cameron comes in and he misses to the right-hand side. 2 behinds to his name for tonight. And Melbourne hang on to an 8-point advantage. Make that 9 points. Some deep breaths all around the MCG. 21 minutes gone, final turn.
He's very tentative on that kick, just poked it through.
Most of the exhaling coming from the members beneath us. Rivers has got it left half back for Melbourne. 4 goals to 2 in this final term so far for the D's. They trailed by 2 at quarter time, having led by 4 and 5 at quarter time and half time respectively. A 2-point deficit with 1 to go. High up and down kick from Neil Bourne is marked by Fritsch. Right on halfway. Handball to Petrarca. Into the pocket. Gawn the target. In the wrestle with Stanley. Picks it up in the forward pocket and he's driven across the line by Tui. Shows his frustration at the umpire. Thought he should have got a free kick in the first instance. And a ball up left forward pocket. Melbourne into attacking 50, up by 9 and looking for the kill shot.
Yeah, rightly so. He was completely held by Stanley then. Well worth the free kick for Max Gawn.
Toss back in, Gawn and Stanley. Gawn flicks it over the back, looking for Petrarca. Bo's in front. Big tackle laid as trying to break his way through was Jack Viney. Zach Tui lays the tackle. And the umpire will throw it up just 25 metres out from Melbourne's goal. Gawn tangles with Stanley once more. It spills down to Clark. Kicks into the middle of the ground for Geelong. Stengel wrestling with McVie. Spills to Dempsey. Hand pass over his shoulder. Langdon takes it for Melbourne. Hand pass to Oliver. He's tackled and dispossessed by Atkins holding the ball. Geelong will take it at centre half back.
Still 5 minutes to go in the ball game. Long enough if the Cats are good enough. Zach Guthrie cruising off half-back, drives it to Dempsey at left half-forward unopposed, 70 metres from home. Cameron's on a long, searching lead, 60 metres out. Chezza wheels around, 52 out, goes inside 50. Oh, Hawkins stretching, can't mark, spills to Zach Guthrie, the unlikely hero. Zach Guthrie drifts down inside forward 50. Kicks goal number 12 in game 85. And again, the Cats are only 3 points behind. Check the height requirements. Strap in. It's a roller coaster ride right to the end. 9-11-65 Geelong. 9-14-68 Melbourne. Back to 3 points. 24 into the last on ABC Sport.
Well, this time it was Clayton Oliver at centre forward, just tried to do a little bit too much. He didn't give the first handball, ended up getting caught with the ball, and away Geelong went. They're running past, getting the ball inside 50. Jeremy Cameron got his hands on the ball again. Tommy Hawkins almost plucked one in, but Guthrie came down to help. This is a fascinating game of football.
We had a thriller last night between Carlton and Collingwood. Here we go again. And Tom Atkins can't emerge with a tackle by Viney. Spills away of Clark of Geelong. High kick towards half forward. Melbourne are well situated. And Trent Rivers lunges in front to take the mark. In front of Ollie Henry. The Demons by 3 points, 9-14-68 to Geelong 9-11-65 as Rivers kicks out to the members' side and Clayton Oliver takes the mark. Possession number 30 coming up for Clary, leading possession getter on the ground as he kicks up towards Petty and Max Gawn. It spills down to the front. Viney tucked in a tackle and the umpire will ball it up with Tom Atkins laying the tackle. Matt Clinch and Joel Peterson calling the action. Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson. Rory Campbell on the boundary. We're in the final 4 minutes.
Ball up half forward for Melbourne. They lead it by 3 points. It rumbles around at their feet. Neil Bullen emerges with it. Looks for the handball to pick it out toward the boundary line. Tui's right there with him. He just posts him up in the end, trying to keep it in play. Neither can, and a throw in. Rivers stretching some cramps behind play. The intensity, the urgency is certainly there for both of these teams. The Cats undefeated 7-0. Melbourne lurking 5-2 inside the top 4. Ball thrown back in. It's a shallow throw in. Gawn got there first. Viney dives on it. Gawn rams Clark into the turf. He didn't have it. And a free kick to the Cat, right on the numbers of the defensive 50.
He wants to switch out towards Zach Guthrie. Fridge back with a flight. Great mark from the Geelong defender. Hand pass away to Jack Henry into the middle of the crowd. Never got to Stewart. Penny makes the spoil. Petrarca misses Fridge. Kicks into the right forward pocket. It bounces end over end. It stays in. Fridge dribbles towards goal. Bailey Fridge out of bounds in the right forward pocket as he puts through his third and extends Melbourne's lead to 9 points. A dribble which would have Peter Dacos out of his chair once more. The Demons answer back at the 26-minute mark of the final term.
Well, I think the kick back into the middle of the corridor by the Geelong defender was the right kick to take. And Tom Stewart, I think it was all by himself, but he just missed the target. And Melbourne made him pay, but Kez, you can describe that goal from Bailey Fritsch. I don't know how we did it.
That defies logic, it defies physics, it defies everything, I reckon. I'm just watching the replay now, so it's trucking towards the boundary. The Geelong defender, Jack Henry, almost gave up on it. And on the outside of his left boot in the right forward pocket, he's tried to dribble it through. Well, he didn't try, he did it. He absolutely nailed it.
Spinning both ways at different points. That was an absolute classic from Bailey Fridge. Clearing kick out of the middle from Viney for the Demons, but Tui intercepts it for Geelong. Measures his pass nicely along the boundary line to Myers. Broadcast side of the ground. He wants to move it on quickly to Blitzar. It's got a fingertip to it. Crashing over the top was Howes. Holmes was there. Back to Blitzar. Just inside the boundary line. Tackled him out in front of the Melbourne race. And it'll be a ball in. Demons by 9. They've kicked 5 goals straight here in this final turn to close with a flurry. What have the Cats got left in the last 2.5 minutes? Here's Matt Clinch on ABC Sport.
Toss back in. Gawn takes front spot against Stanley and then takes it out of the ruck. His kick is smothered. Stewart left it for Kolajazzi. Broke the picket tackle. Kicks towards Blitzar's back with the flight. Coming the other direction, Tom McDonald. Spills out the way of Close. Hand pass to Myers. Swings on his right. So dangerous. Looking for Cameron. Back with the flight. Takes the mark as it crashes into Ed Langdon. And he'll line up directly in front. 40 metres out from goal. Is this the Jeremy Cameron moment?
Guy Myers' vision around the contest is extraordinary. If you're his teammate and he had the ball, you'd be ready to catch it because he'll hit you from anywhere. But Cameron's goal kicking tonight has been ordinary.
9-point ball game. Jeremy Cameron, 2 behind extra his name, and he misses again. Out to the left. One of the best players in the game has had 2 howlers set shots. And Chris Scott can't believe it. Geelong fans can't believe it. Melbourne by 8 points with under 2 minutes to go.
I'm sure the Melbourne fans can believe it. There have been some very nervous moments among that supporter cohort. McVie, outside defensive 50 to Howes. Melbourne by 8. 29 minutes gone, final term. Long kick up the southern wing. Langdon just whacks it forward to gain some territory and puts it out of bounds on the full. So Jack Henry will take his kick from defensive side of centre wing underneath the Shane Warne stand. Cats 9-12, Demons 10-14. Henry moves it on immediately. with some urgency, but Gawn stands in a pack of 8, towering like the MC lights over proceedings, and pulls in an imperious mark that might just see off the Cats' charge.
As it's worked out to Christian Petrarca at right half back. Melbourne now just have to execute. Petrarca as long as he can around the southern wing. Sparrow in the back can't take the mark. It spills out to Neil Bullen. Tackle gets a hand pass out to the wing. Sam de Koning. Hand pass to Dempsey. Over the top to Myers. Hand pass to the boundary side for Holmes. Around the boundary line to Close. Knocks it on to Cameron. They're rolling the dice. His kick is out of bounds on the full. And Melbourne will take it in the right back pocket in the dying seconds. The Demons by 8 points.
Sums up Jez's night, that one.
Hasn't gone his way after all the plaudits he earns during the week. Lever will take it inside the defensive 50. The Demons fans know 8 points to the good. They start to have a rousing cheer. Now the Cats come back inside the arc. Rowan brings it down, 40 from home, spills through to Close. He has a shot at goal. Bouncing ball toward Blitzarves in the forward pocket. He can't control it. Out for a throw-in. Right forward pocket. Geelong into attack. We're 31 minutes through the final term. The Demons lead by 8.
Simon Goodwin on the boundary line with the ball to be tossed back into play. Thrown back in, Hawkins and Gawn. It spills down to Clayton Oliver, and the Demons end Geelong's unbeaten run. An early final in May as Melbourne prevail by 8 points to give Geelong their first loss of the season.
It's the emblem for me and for you. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue, and we sing this song to you. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the red and the blue.
There's a little bit to unpack in this game, but Melbourne prevail by 8 points in front of 51,795 fans. 10-14-74 to Geelong, 9-12-66. The Demons move to 6-2. Geelong are 7-1. The Demons led by 4 points at quarter time, by 5 points at half time. We had a goalless quarter before Geelong took a 2-point lead at three-quarter time. The Demons hit 5 goals straight to Geelong's 3-2 in the final term.
It's a high-flying flag. It's the emblem for me and for you. It's the emblem of the team we love, the team of the red and the blue. Every heart beats true for the red and the blue, and we sing this song to you. Should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the red and the blue.
The Demons prevail by 8 points at the MCG. It was first versus fourth coming in, and the Demons leave with their premiership credentials stamped tonight. They take it up to the Cats and prevail. For the winners, 3 goals to Bailey Fritsch, 2 to Pickett. Individuals to Windsor, Gawn, Langdon, Petty and Chandler. While for Geelong, 3 to Ollie Henry, 2 goals to Stengel. Individuals to Clark, Dempsey, Zach Guthrie and Close. Bailey Fritsch with 2 of his 3 goals coming in the final term, including a dribbler from the right forward pocket which proved the decisive goal. The thoughts of Carlton AFLW captain Kes Peterson and Australian Football Hall of Fame member Nathan Burke on Melbourne's 8-point win over Geelong.
Well, that game had just about a bit of everything that you would ever expect in an AFL game. It was an electric first quarter that there's absolutely no way that that pace was going to be able to be maintained, and it surely wasn't in that second term where all the return that we got as spectators was 9 behinds and a couple of out of bounds on the full. It was really ordinary watching. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of fumbles, and either team was really able to gain any sort of ascendancy over each other and go into the third term, and all of a sudden we went back to what we saw in that first term. Really tight tussle, and in the last couple of minutes when the game was on the line, enter Bailey Fritsch with one of the goals of the season, and not just because of the skill that it took to execute, but because of the moment in the game and what it meant for the result. It really probably crushed the hopes of a Geelong comeback. The really surprising thing was the performance of Jeremy Cameron, who's been so good for the first half of the season, and he had 2 opportunities in that last term to get, or to probably put Geelong back in front and put the game away, and unfortunately he sprayed both of them. So I think everyone at the MCG, including myself, is just gathering their thoughts and taking a breath, Berkey, because that was an unbelievable game of football.
Absolutely it was. I went down last week and saw Adelaide play North Melbourne in front of about 4,000 people in Hobart, and sort of lost my joy of football there for a week. But that has certainly restored it. That was an amazing game. Congratulations to these two teams. As a neutral supporter, to sit and watch that, it was exciting. And you're right, Kez, it had everything that this great game offers us. The only thing we didn't get tonight was a big high specky, although Harrison Petty, his aerial work was outstanding tonight, especially up around the wing. He took some really telling marks that kept the ball going Melbourne's way, so well done to Harrison Petty. But it was fast, it was tough. We had a contrast of skill. We had the skill of Bailey Fritsch and Pickett up one end, and we had Stengel and Myers up the other end. We had the mental pressure of players not being able to kick goals that they would normally easily kick. And then you've got the old fella in Max Gawn kicking one from 60 out, and the young fella in Caleb Windsor icing one from the pocket really late. So you've got the old and the young really stepping up when it counted. And I thought Lever, May and McDonald, they were outstanding down in the Melbourne backline. And McDonald, he was the one who had Jeremy Cameron. He had the responsibility for the majority of this game, and I thought he did an outstanding job. He let Cameron go just twice in that last quarter, and Cameron didn't make him pay, but for the majority of the game, he had an outstanding performance. So well done to the D's. I think most of the football world was still a little bit unsure about the D's and sort of saying we need them to take a big scalp and we need them to do something special, and tonight they did something special. There's no better team to beat than the team who has won 7 straight. Still got a good list. We know Dangerfield's not out there, but the rest of them are out there and they're playing some really good football. So well done to the D's. If anyone didn't think that the D's were a bona fide team, well, they are tonight, because it wasn't just the guns in the middle of the ground. Oliver got his hand on the footy, which he always does. Petrarca had a good serviceable game. Viney was really good and serviceable, but it was the blokes around the outside. Langdon got a lot of the football, and Trent Rivers did some good stuff down back. Neil Bullen was serviceable as he always is, and I think they had a really good team effort. Van Rooyen was good. He pinch hit in the ruck when he needed to, took some big marks around the ground. So it was a great team effort there. Daniel Turner did some good things as well. Woden got his hands on the football. So well done to the D's. It was a great team effort tonight, and you deserve to have a good celebration and sing the song loud and clear. The Cats, by no means were you disgraced. You just wasted the opportunities when you had them in that last quarter, and I think that is the main thing that Chris Scott will touch on when they do their review.
The Demons headed down to their fans at the Punt Road end. They're now making their way off the MCG, led by their captain, Max Gawn. Melbourne 8-point winners at the MCG, 10-14-74 to Geelong 9-12-66. It knocks Geelong off the top of the AFL ladder, with Sydney moving ahead, while the Demons, they hang on to 4th spot just behind the Giants on percentage. Let's join the Demons with Rory Campbell in their rooms.
Lots of happy faces down here, guys. A big cheer as they walk in, led by Max Gawn. Some tired bodies, but plenty of smiles as this Melbourne team walks into the rooms. They haven't played a lot of footy over the last month. 2 games since April the 4th. A few hugs and kisses. Stephen May greeting some loved ones as he moves in. Simon Goodwin bringing up the rear. They're moving into the circle now. As a hard-fought win, this should be a good rendition of the team song.
So the Demons win us by 8 points here at the MCG, 10-14-74 to Geelong 9-12-66. Meanwhile, in Perth, we're going to take you there for the final term. It's the Bombers who lead by 15 points over the West Coast Eagles, 10-8-68 to the Eagles, 8-5-53. With Zach Merritt having kicked 3 goals for the Bombers, Kyle Langford with 2 to Waterman, and Williams alongside Peter Wright with 2 as well.
And Harley Reid with another couple of little highlight plays. Clinchy, big fend-off on Zach Merritt at one stage in that game before he broke his way clear. So he's back into the action, and he'll be back on everyone's social media feeds after tonight as well.
So the Demons have just headed into a quick team meeting. Hopefully we'll bring you a quick reaction from the Melbourne rooms, and then we'll head you to Perth for the final quarter between the Bombers and the Eagles. There's so many questions around Melbourne's forward line, the improvement from last year to this year. I'm not sure it's the punctuality that'll be sort of hailed tonight, but there were some key moments. Cosy Pickett in that final term, and of course, given it was Nick Dacos who decided last night, it was Bailey Fritsch with his best Peter Dacos impersonation, dribbling it through from the right forward pocket.
Big moments and big plays, isn't it, Clinchy? And that was... Well, I wasn't too impressed with what happened last night, but I was certainly impressed with that highlight that Fritsch just... I still don't understand how the ball went that way. But to your point around their forward line, I mean, even tonight, what we're seeing from Melbourne is a really even spread. And is that going to stand up in finals? Well, we don't know yet. For the last 2 years, it hasn't. But even tonight, we see the spread of goals. Pickett was the only... it wasn't. It was Fritsch who kicked 3, Pickett kicked 2, and then it was all singles. And not a lot from their midfielders, which is where they're often getting their other goals from. So we didn't see any goals from Oliver. Petrarca didn't hit the scoreboard. He had 2 behinds. I'm not sure yet, Burke. I'd be interested in your thoughts about what that means for them moving forward. Is that something that they can sustain, with Fritsch, who in probably any other team, without the likes of... like a Jeremy Cameron or a Tom Hawkins or someone like that, who would probably play a third tall in any other kind of team. Is that a sustainable model moving forward? I'd be interested in your thoughts.
Yeah, he definitely needs help. Tonight, I thought Petty was good further up the ground. Didn't do a lot inside 50, Petty, but he allowed the ball to continue from the back line through the midfield to the forward line to give Fritsch more chances. Van Rooyen, over time, he will certainly help. At the moment, he's just a young forward learning his craft. And he's going to be inconsistent. He's going to have some good games. He's going to have some water games. He only had the 7 touches tonight and 4 kicks and 3 handballs and 2 behinds, but potentially could have been 2 goals. That would have been great, 2 goals from 7 possessions. So over time, he would, but they have got big Ben Brown and others in, and they've got Shaki and Brown. So they've got some big players in reserve, but none of them are consistent enough.
Well, they've tried all of them, haven't they? None of them have really stuck.
No, Ben Brown should be able to. He's an experienced enough player. He's the type of player that you still have to watch. You still have to put somebody on. You can't just let him go and put all your attention onto Fritsch. So they've got players there. It's just about experimenting, finding that mix. But tonight, that mix was good enough to have 24 shots a goal against the Cats.
At the other end of the ground, Tom Hawkins, so goalless for the 4th week in a row for the first time in his career. It feels a little bit sacrilegious. He's one of my absolute favourite players. He's been a stalwart of Geelong. I mean, he's a very good decoy, but are there any sort of worrying signs with that run of form becoming a little bit more prolonged now from what we saw tonight?
I think so. I think tonight he just looked a step off, and a couple of times this year he's looked a step off. There's potential there that if he wasn't playing in such a good side like Geelong, that step would look really bad. But Geelong sort of can make up for it by the way that they actually move the ball around. But against really good defenders and against really good teams where the delivery, they don't have as much time to deliver the ball to him, he's potentially going to struggle.
Yeah, he had a dirty night tonight. He only had 11 touches, and this is the worrying thing, is he went at 33%. So, really from those, you're looking at three good stats for him tonight, or 3 good possessions, which, he wasn't helped, I suppose, in a way that the ball wasn't delivered to him as easily as what it could have or should have. But you need your key forward to be more than 3 good disposals per game, and that is becoming a bit of run of form there. They've got a bit of a challenging run too. Like Geelong take on Port Adelaide down at Kardinia Park next week. and then they head to Darwin against Gold Coast too. It's going to be an interesting game to see how they play in those sort of conditions. Then
the Suns play well up there too.
They do, and then they've got the Giants. So they've got three challenging games coming up that I think will really either set Geelong up into the back half of the year or really bring them back into the pack.
But there's really no point at Tom Hawkins' stage of his career to play VFL, is there? You maybe look at giving him a couple of weeks off and then reassess, given Geelong had such a great start to the season. Melbourne have just come out of their team meeting. The Demons winners by 8 points. Let's head back down to Rory Campbell.
The team, I'm here with Ed Langdon. Ed, they were undefeated, the pace setters of the competition so far. It took forever to break them. How hard was that?
Yeah, incredibly hard. Very physically taxing game and quite a mentally taxing game as well. They threw a lot at us, and I thought we prepared really well throughout the week. The coaches did an amazing job on setting the week up for us, and that's such a powerful win for our football club.
What do you think the difference was in the end? Did you feel fresher in that last quarter at all, or feel fresher than they looked?
Not necessarily. I think, the AFL footy at the moment swings on momentum. So you've got to recognise that both teams are going to have it, and sort of whoever can win the momentum game usually comes out probably performing better than the other team. So I thought how we mentally reset throughout the game and just kept coming, and then there was some sort of big critical moments that we won in the last quarter, which were huge.
To that extent, it felt like a dinky-die heavyweight battle to win those big moments. Do you feel like that stands you in good stead and that these guys might be a team you could meet later in the year?
Absolutely. I mean, they're the standard at the moment. They're an incredible team. So to get that, I'm sure they'll be there at the end of the year, and hopefully we are too. So anytime you can play a game that sort of replicates finals intensity is great for us.
I'll hand you over to the team upstairs. We've got Matt Clinch, Joel Peterson, Kez Peterson and Nathan Burke.
Ed, congratulations. Nathan Burke here, mate. Fantastic win. It seemed like when you couldn't go fast, you were very patient and you maintained possession of the football and just kept that short passing going, a lot of short passing early on. Was that the game plan? If it wasn't a fast break, it had to be really patient?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got some serious aerial threats and some really good players down back. So we knew if we just kicked long and straight, it was probably going to be a tough night for us. So the more we could sort of try and make them defend, the better off we were going to be.
And what was the message at three-quarter time? Was it more heavily weighted into, hey, we've got to actually guts this out, we can't take our foot off the pedal, or was it a tactical sort of a talk? What did Goody go with?
Goody's sort of all about just remaining calm. Our times will come and critical contests will come for each player. So if we can just remain calm and sort of when it's your time to perform and win your moments, then that goes a long way to us winning the game.
Yeah, congratulations on the win tonight. It's Karen Peterson up here. I wanted to ask you, what was going through your mind and perhaps some of the conversations that might have been going on the ground halfway through that second term, and particularly as we got closer to half-time when neither team had scored a goal. I think it was 9 behinds between both teams. Just what was going through your mind, or some of the conversations between some of your teammates out on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, it can be a pretty frustrating time when you have a quarter like that, but I guess you look at it and it was probably frustrating for both teams. So it's all just about, as I sort of mentioned before, staying calm and just staying really present and making sure you bring your teammates back into the present and really just keep focusing on your next moment.
And we've talked up in the box just after the game. Seen a couple of moments this round already of big moments and big players stepping up. Where were you on the ground when Bailey Fritsch kicked that left foot dribbler from the right hand pocket?
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? I was had a pretty good seat actually. I was probably about 40 metres behind him, so I got a good angle, and I mean he's an incredible player, and that's certainly not a fluke. He does that at training for fun. So it was great to see, and yeah, that's just a great example of a player who took his moment tonight.
Ed Langdon with us in the Melbourne rooms after a close-fought Demons win. Hey, Ed, you play out on that outer wing. You own that outer wing here at the MCG. The man who started on the opposite one is Caleb Windsor, who's really making an impression. You might be able to give us a little bit of a campaign for a rising star nod for him, but a clutch goal at the end, a couple of big chase-down tackles. He just continues to impress, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's an incredible young kid, and his willingness to learn and just absorb as much information as he can is amazing. And, you know, I think you guys are only seeing a glimpse of what this kid might become. You know, he's a hell of a player for a guy who's only played, eight games now. So, yeah, some of his moments and chase down tackles, and then to go back and kick a big goal in the last quarter, it's pretty impressive.
They had a big crowd on Anzac Eve against the Tigers, another big crowd just under 60,000 tonight against the Cats, and then you turn your attention to the Blues. It's a good couple of weeks to try and work out where you sit in this AFL season.
Yeah, absolutely, isn't it? Big sort of month for us, and that's what we love. It's going to be another finals-like game, which is just sort of awesome preparation for us. It's the sort of intensity that you're going to face at the back end of the year. So another great opportunity for us to sort of come out and put our brand on show.
Good on you, Ed. Congratulations on the win, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Thanks, guys.
Ed Langdon joining us in the Melbourne rooms after the Demons prevailed over Geelong here at the MCG. Matt Clinch alongside Joel Peterson, Nathan Burke and Kez Peterson after Melbourne's 8-point win over the Cats. In your eyes, does that solidify Melbourne's premiership credentials? Does it prove to you that they can take down a side who will be there come the pointy end, or is it just a good win in May?
We know they're a good side. Straight sets 2 years in a row. That monkey will start to climb on round 21 onwards when they'll make the finals, obviously, but that monkey will be there, and that's the issue, and that's a mental thing that they need to deal with. Talent-wise, physical-wise, yeah, they're good enough, but can they cope with that monkey?
There's teams in sport across the world that are sort of built for the regular season, aren't there? And then when the games get a little bit tighter and the moments get a little bit more intense in those sort of playoff postseason situations, that they can't stand up to it. The question is still going to be that forward line for Melbourne. Could their defence be good enough, though, Kez, that it isn't the problem?
Yes, it can be good enough. Will it be good enough? I'm not convinced, because it hasn't been. Like, their defence has been as rock solid as what it is, what we see tonight in the last couple of seasons. Like, the players haven't changed. The system hasn't changed. They've been able to stand up in big moments, and it has won them games, but it's also not been enough in other games, and that's what we've seen in the finals campaigns. So I think when you've got a system as good as what Melbourne's is with their defence, it takes the rest of the competition, and particularly the really good teams, 20 or 21 rounds to work it out, so that when they get to the back end of the year, they've got something to go with to counteract as good as what Melbourne is at the moment. It's really the only way that they're winning is by keeping the best team in the competition to 66 points. And I mean, ultimately, Geelong had an opportunity, or had a couple of opportunities tonight to win it, so it could have been a very different story.
In under 2 minutes, we're going west to the West Coast Eagles and the Bombers. So the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year are Perky with a hand pass.
How is that handball? He does that all the time.
There's a flick pass.
That is. And he's done that because it's actually very hard to do the votes tonight, isn't it, Berkey? That's why you've done it. So I think players... I've actually come prepared. I wasn't going to do that, but I was. I've given one vote to Brian Myers. We talked about him a lot throughout the game. In a game like that, I can't give three players from the same team all the votes. So I've gone with Brian Myers purely because of the decisions that he made, and he kept Geelong in it for a long period of time with some of the decisions that he made, and particularly going inside forward 50. He was outstanding. 22 touches, 12 handball receives, and 8 score involvements. I've gone 2 for my brother in defence, Stephen May. I thought he was outstanding. He ended up with 25 touches at 95% disposal efficiency, or kicking efficiency, and he kept Hawkins goalless to 11 disposals like we talked about. And it's hard to go past Clayton Oliver for 3 votes. He had 31 disposals, 17 of those were contested, and that's what's got him across the line. 4 clearances, 6 handball receives, and 8 score involvements. He was really good and led Melbourne tonight. 3 to Oliver, 2 to May, 1 to Graham Myers from Kez Peterson, and the ABC Footballer of the Year in Melbourne's 8-point win over Geelong, 10-14, 74 to the Cats, 9-12, 66.
weeks. The Demons turn their attention to the Blues next week. They're 6-2. Geelong have Port Adelaide, having been knocked off top spot. They're 7-1. Thanks to our team tonight, we're going to take you west, where the West Coast Eagles are playing Essendon. Clint Wheeldon and Mitch Turner behind the mic with Shane Woden, Sharad Wellingham and Bridget Lacey. It's the Bombers 10-9-69 leading the West Coast Eagles 9-5-59. So just a 10-point lead the Bombers' way. They've got out by as much as 20 points. So off to the west we go. We'll chat to you again tomorrow from midday for Sunday AFL. Enjoy the coverage from the west.
Half forward, waiting underneath at Gresham as we welcome our listeners from around the country to Perth. The Bombers go inside forward 50. Langford marks. The score is Essendon 10-9-69 to the Eagles 9-5-59. The Bombers led by 10 points at quarter time, by 22 at the half and by 15 at three-quarter time. Zach Merritt's kicked 3 for Essendon. Kyle Langford could be about to kick his third. He'll start hard up against the boundary, about 60 from goal. He'll put boot to ball from just beyond 50. Kick is on its way. It looks pretty good. Oh, the Bombers fans behind the goal. They're in raptures. Langford's got 3. That's a terrific strike of the football. And the Bombers' lead is out to 16 points. 11-9-75 to 9-5-59. 11 gone in the final term. The other multiple goal kicker for Essendon, Peter Wright's got a couple. While for West Coast, Jake Waterman has 2. Jack Darling with 2. Jack Williams with 2. There was a late change for the Eagles. Marek was out through illness, which meant Dom Shee came off the list of emergencies and straight into the team. The concern is for Jai Caldwell for Essendon with a calf problem, tight calf issue. West Coast also have some problems as well. Noah Long out with a leg injury. Elliot Yeo's on the bench. We haven't seen him for a quarter now. It looks like that'll be it for him.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Bailey Williams does the ruck work against Goldstein. Took it out, socketed it forward. It's returned by Nick Martin. Hacked it out of the air. Duggan spilt the uncontested mark. Was worried out of it by Davey Jr. Now Hobbs dives in. Kelly for West Coast. Was able to get a handball out to Witherden. His handball in front of Duggan. Parrish just bullied him off the ball. Now sends it inside the attacking 50. It's a foot race. Barris leads the way for West Coast. He just dives on the ball. Wright dives on top of him. The umpire says it's okay.
Jeremy McGovern calling for a high hit there. Done all the hard work, West Coast, and then had that easy exit.
Ball up inside the Bombers attacking 50. Hard up against the boundary line. Gresham socketed it out of midair. Duggan took the mark for West Coast on the intercept and immediately played on, rolled and switched the ball across his defensive goal face to Rotham, who goes back the other way. Oh, misses the kick to McGovern. Bounces all the way over the back from Barris. And under pressure from Gresham, he knocks it out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. Poor skill error from Josh Rotham.
Clint Wheeldon with you alongside Mitch Turner. Expert Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham from the throw-in. Bailey J. Williams takes clean possession. He'll kick towards the outer side. Can't find a mark. Laverty missed it though for the Bombers. Gave it to Martin. Now to Mackay. Hand pass to Heppel. Looks to move it short again. Kelly with it. Shy of the logo. Southern wing. Pauses for a moment. He'll look to move it short. Leading up Perkins, who leaps into the air to mark. They're still on the southern wing, though, the Bombers. Perkins takes a couple of steps. He'll put it into the right forward pocket. He wanted right front position. Spoil came from Barris at the side. Tim Kelly was there at the drop. Gave it to Bailey Williams. Back to Kelly. Kicks up into the air. Head towards the left half back. Sheed waited. Perkins got a hand to it. Spilled down to Bailey Williams again of the Eagles. Worked it on once more. Chester goes beyond defensive 50. Punch came, though, from Laverty of the Bombers on the wing. To Heppel, to Merritt. Kicks up into the air once more. McGovern set himself. He flew. Hands on it at the back. Goldstein. Down to Kelly. Wrapped up magnificently. Great tackle from Martin. No prior. Ball up the call. 55 out from the Bombers' goal at right half forward. Still, the Bombers, they lead by 16 points. 14 gone in the last.
Goldstein's tap was sharp by Kelly for the Eagles. His kick up the wing. Laverty Spilt the mark. Darling now toe pokes it forward for West Coast. Liam Ryan is trying to run onto the ball, but the boundary line beats him. Goes out of bounds. There'll be a ball in. Attacking side of the wing for West Coast. 16-point margin the way of the Bombers. The black and red scarves are ready to wave. The Eagles, though, won't go away as Goldstein works his way to the front. Off the throw-in, has to deal with Harley Reid coming at him. Was able to get it to the former skipper in Heppel. His kick up the wing. Pack forms right. No one knew where it was. It ricocheted off the players. Eventually, Cole turned around and found it for West Coast. Got it to Chesser, then to Edwards. Now Kelly. He gives it to Liam Ryan. Has the run of Sheed coming past. Looping handball to Kelly. Breaks the tackle. Kicks it towards the goal. Waterman in a one-on-one wrestle. Loses his man and takes the mark. Jake Waterman will go back. Tight angle to the left. Will run around and snap it for goal number 3. Plays on, bends it round. He cuts the margin back to 10 points again. Waterman has 3. The Eagles will not go away. 10-5-65. They trail the Bombers 11-9-75. There is 15 minutes played here in the final quarter at Perth Stadium in front of 51,751 fans. Mitch Turner here, Clint Wildon alongside me, our experts Shane Woden and Sharrett Wellingham.
Beautiful finish from Waterman after a great mark. But it's Kelly who's just absolutely grinding at the moment. Contest after contest.
With Elliot Yeo on the bench.
Yeah.
He's stepped up this last quarter. He's had a solid game, but this last quarter, so come with me, lads.
The roar's enormous from the Eagles fans. Wright, though, wins it down in the middle. Sheed will get a free kick. Durham into his back. He decides to play on by hand for West Coast. To Tim Kelly. Kicks towards Darling. Attacks the football. Couldn't mark but gathers. Wheels onto his right. Sends it towards goal. It's not going to get one. It's across the face and misses the lot. The Bombers with a free kick at left full back.
He had some options, didn't he, to shape the footy too.
Jimby was streaming past on his left.
Laverty kicks to a pack at left half back for Essendon. That's a fine mark.
If they play on.
Peter Wright, I thought, had it up against Williams. They decide to play on. At the back, Witherden has it. Kicks back towards full forward. Waterman! Oh, that is so strong. He had a grab under real pressure. Falling across to his right. He's been able to complete it. Now, the Eagles have to be careful here. They don't give away a free kick.
They've turned it over.
They have.
Who was it?
Petricelli.
Petricelli's just shoved one of the Bombers over. Waterman in a fine contested mark has seen that taken away from him by the actions of one of his own teammates.
Moments.
He was looking for what would have been his 4th, and it would have brought West Coast to within 4 points. As Laverty puts it across into the left back pocket to Martin. Kick is beyond defensive 50 for the Bombers. Can't find a target. Getting onto it, Guelphy runs towards it. Pop the hand pass forward to Dersma. Now to Merritt. Burning down the wing is Redmond. Kick goes over the top of Stringer. Last man back. The Eagles have numbers and they're able to see it across the boundary line as Jack Williams gave it on to Rotham and he takes it across for a boundary throw in. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Confirmation from West Coast. It's a minor groin issue for Elliot Yeo, which is seeing him miss this last quarter. The physios were doing a bit of work on him before 3/4 time, so they've made a call there.
Groin is not the word you want to hear when it comes to Elliot Yeo after his previous injury problems. Durham gets it from the pack, soccers it, or tumbles it towards goal. Rotham happy to see it over for the Eagles. 11-10-76, the rush behind. So
I can't have that stuff.
10-5-65, they lead by 11.
Sorry,
the coach killers.
I can't have that. You've got a goal.
Cripps it was.
Discipline.
Cripps apparently. Cripps who pushed over the Essendon player and gave away the free kick.
Cripper.
Ball back into play. Bobbling on the wing from the long kick in. Sheed extracts it, gave it to the first gamer in Harvey Johnson, high up and under, tracking back Nick Martin, couldn't take the mark. Laverty was there to gather the spill, gave it to McGrath, now Parrish. The Bombers retreat inside defensive 50. Kelly has the ball. Jay Kelly goes wide to Heppel.
Tom Sheed telling his teammate, push his numbers through. Pair off, stop the switch.
Further wide to Martin, back to Heppel. It is chipping around the Bombers. They have the 11-point lead. Still plenty of time left. Now Heppel will pull the trigger and go long up the wing. In the pack at the back. Beautiful mark. Welfie.
Amongst 3 West Coast players there, plucked it out of the lot of them.
Was 5th in line, took the mark, got it up to Dersma, has to kick the cute kick into Langford. Almost took the mark. Couldn't quite reel it in, sliding on his knees, Kyle Langford. The ball bobbles out of bounds for a throw in. Inside the Bombers attacking 50. Through the ruckman. Looking to see who nominate. McGovern
nominated for West Coast.
No one nominates for the Bombers. McGovern just takes it out of the ruck. He's immediately tackled.
Odd situation here, but...
So Peter Wright on the wing, so too Bailey Williams. None of the big men inside the forward 50. Now it's a ball up. Langford and McGovern go at it. Tap down to Harley Reid. Got the handball over to Jimby. His tumbling kick bamboozled Peter Wright. Oh, big contest. Bailey Williams and Heppel was brilliant. The Eagles won it. Now it's ricocheting off bodies. Terrific contest between Heppel and Williams. Exactly how it's supposed to be done. Ball in on the wing. Bridget Lacey downstairs.
Jamie Cripps just came to the bench and Ryan Turnbull was trying to hand him the phone. He didn't want anything to do with the phone, but he did eventually have to listen to whatever was said to him on the other end.
Good old talking to.
Cross West Coast to goal. Spun back in. Wright got a hand to it. Came down to Perkins. And to Durham. Off inside to Gresham. Kicks inside forward 50. Can't find a target. Ricochets off shins. Petruccelli met solidly by Wolfie coming the other way. Going to be a ball up. Still plenty of push and sharp players being ripped out of various spots on the ground. One down by McGovern. Trying to get a kick through there was Duggan. Scooped up though by Dersma. Got it onto Merritt. Shoveled a hand pass forward as he was tackled. It'll trundle towards the boundary line. Stringer's kept it in. Oh, that's great play from Stringer. And he kicks towards goal, but he only finds Barris, who marks defensively in the best spot at the top of the goal square. And he moves it out to Chesser, who marks in the left back pocket. 11-10-76 the Bombers, 10-5-65 the Eagles, 21 and a bit gone in the last.
We had time remaining as the kick goes. Outside defensive 50, a wobbler. Falls from the hands of Jack Burns to the Eagles. Luke Edwards is being held. Umpire said play on. Socketed out a bit there. Nick Martin gathers, kicks towards half forward. Jones takes the mark. Has players in front of him streaming towards goal. Sees Jake Stringer in the middle. Stringer goes up. McGovern gets a fist in. Durham's there at the fall of the ball. Can't gather on the first attempt. Does so on the second. Throws on the left towards goal. It's across the face. Jones can't mark. Barris was there with a fist. Ball goes out of bounds. Will be tossed in. Deep in the attacking 50 again for the Bombers. Another goal here will make it hard for the Eagles.
Cramp.
It's an 11-point lead as Harley Reid limps to the bench. Shallow throw in. Hobbs dives on it. Can't get the ball to stay in. It goes out of bounds for a throw in as we see Harley Reid come to the bench, and Bridget Lacey will keep an eye on that for us. The umpire's just checking whether it was out of bounds on the full or out of bounds in general. It's a throw in, the end result.
Wasn't moving smoothly, Harley Reid, as he came to the bench. Ball spun back in. McGovern trying to get a kick away. Tackled, lost it. Scooped up here by the Eagles, and Hoff goes beyond the defensive 50 to left half back. Now it's with Sheed. Wobbles a kick, but only as far as Mackay, who waits underneath it and gets the mark. Stands on the outer edge of the centre square. Bombers lead is 11 points. Mackay for Essendon finds Goldstein. Uncontested mark, just shy of right half forward for Essendon. Time continues to tick away. Nearly 24 minutes gone in the last. Essendon go inside forward 50. Stringer went out after it, should have marked, and he'll get a free kick. Got taken high anyway. Or is it going not to Stringer? Beg your pardon. It's going to Langford. Did think Stringer should have taken the mark. Langford was the player who has been infringed according to the officials. He's got it in the right forward pocket. 3 goals, as we mentioned tonight, to Kyle Langford. He and McGovern wrestling away. And McGovern did put the arm over the right shoulder, moving subtly out of the way, or less than subtly. Kyle Langford comes in from 47 metres out. He's going to push that across the face. It's a minor score. It is now a 2-goal game. Essendon lead by 12 points. 11-11-77. West Coast 10-5-65. 25 gone in the last.
Got to go down the middle.
Got to.
Yep, got to score.
Essendon are setting up for it, though, very well.
2 goals the margin. No one mans the mark. McGovern runs to about 35 out of his own defensive 50. Kicks it down the middle of the ground. Mackay flew, couldn't mark. Tim Kelly was clean. Was able to get the handball to Hoff. Tumbling ball towards half-forward. Laverty v. Waterman. Laverty in front. Did well. Won the ball and kept it alive. Then breaks the tackle. Kicks it up the wing. Can he hit a target? McGovern v. Stringer. McGovern in front. Stringer pushed him. It'll be a free kick to McGovern. It's terrific work by Laverty. Out of half-back. Couldn't make it work, though. McGovern. Short to Edwards. Got it back. Continued his run, then gave the ball off to Kelly. Now Witherden for West Coast. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Sheed has to wait. Mackay just got a fist in there. Duggan gathers the loose ball outside defensive 50. Kicks it into the pocket. Again, Laverty comes out to meet it. Had a fumble. Now Cripps just recklessly diving over the top.
Does that take his
How's that not taking his legs out?
Is the way the free kick. Sharad Wellingham, Shamwo Woden.
Nearly got a broken shin.
Surely.
I think it may have been contact below the knees. He had a fumble, Laverty. Went back to get it. Cannon into Cripps.
Waterman on one leg too, cramping.
But he wins the free kick and goes beyond defensive 50 where Bailey J. Williams takes the mark.
Plays on to Witherden. He'll put it long towards full forward. They come from everywhere. Waterman this time can't hang on to it. Petruccelli tries to break a tackle. He's taken the ground. Ball up the call. Straight in front of West Coast goal, 25 metres out. The Eagles are running out of numbers. He had to make their sub, and then Yo's off. Also Reed. Darling took clean possession. Trying to get a hurried kick away back into traffic. Jinby stole it away from Cox. Lost it. Cox got it. Gave it to Parrish. His kick was straight into Duggan. Hands it off to Edwards. He's going to be run down. Took way too long. Wilfie got him. Strong tackle. Didn't give away the free kick. And he'll have it for the Bombers. Between fullback and centre half back.
It's great defence.
Great tackle, but I don't know how the hell you can think you can take a step inside the forward 50 with 24 players in there.
Luke Edwards thought he had far, far more time than you could have when there's that many players around the footy. And Guelphy deserving the free kick. He'll kick towards the southern wing.
Pack forms on the wing, flying from behind Jones. Fell down to Langford. He's immediately tackled. Tries to get free. Umpire blew the whistle just as he was about to. It's tossed up on the wing. Goldstein taps it down to Cox. Immediately tackled by Petruccelli. Was able to get a kick out, but only as far as Duggan. Kicks it inside the Eagles, attacking 50. Players go to ground. Crowd wants a free kick. None paid. Kelly dives on it. Durham tackles him. Edwards gives it to Cripps. Kick towards goal. Oh, Waterman in a big contest is crunched. And the ball ricochets out of bounds. Laverty and Waterman have gone at each other all night. They get to their feet. The ball will be tossed in right next to the left behind post. Deep in the Eagles 50. They need a goal here if they want to have a chance. Coming through, Petruccelli couldn't get enough purchase on the ball. In the goal square, Laverty dives on it. Johnston, the first gamer, is in there. Martin tries to soccer one away. Now Guelphy on top of it for the Bombers. Crowd yells ball, but there was no prior. It'll be tossed up 20 metres out directly in front of the Eagles goal as time ticks down. They trail by 12.
Craig's not at the
Thrown aloft. Bailey J with the more telling touch. It went straight back into traffic. It's been locked in. Another ball up. Jack Williams hands it off. Dersma underneath all of that. Right in front of goal and 15 out. Up into the air it goes. Kicked forward. Williams. Tapped it over Williams. Bailey J on to Jack. And the Eagles kick one with about a minute left. Williams squared. Brings us to within 6 points in this game. Jack Williams has got a third. That's a career high for him, no doubt. 29 gone in the last. The Bombers are 11-11-77. The Eagles are 11-5-71. We've got a thriller on ABC Sport. Our experts Shane Woden and Sharad Wellingham.
As Jack Darling kicked that in midair.
Dare I say, the Bombers had a draw last week and they lead by 6.
First team to go back-to-back could happen again.
Bridget Lacey downstairs.
A bit of confusion. Harley Reid's fine. She's coming back onto the ground, but Liam Ryan tried to come on at the same time as him, so a lucky escape for West Coast, but Harley Reid's on for this last bit.
Oh dear, could you have imagined that?
Yeah. Forwards pulled back from centre bounce.
Still over a minute to go in this final term. Kelly wins it out of the middle for West Coast. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Oh, Mackay almost marks it in front. Langford was back there for the Bombers. Gave it to McGrath. He got it to Heppel. Was almost run down. The Bombers clear defensive 50. Merritts. The skipper tracking back. Takes the mark on the wing. Still time. Will go long up the line. Zach Merritt. Kick to a contest. West Coast need a mark. Jones can't take it for the Bombers. Goldstein did the roving, gave it to Durham. Handball to Peter Wright. Kicks it inside the forward 50. The first gamer in Harvey Johnson tracks it back. Gets it on the last line of defence. Gives it to Tom Cole. Just got to go up the middle. Cripps pushed out of it by Martin. Umpire said play on. The Bombers win it back. Mackay turns it over. West Coast, one last roll of the dice. Cripps kicks it towards half forward. Sheed, Heppel, players diving in. The siren sounds. The Bombers hang on in a thriller. The fans wave the scarves out in the west. And this time, the colours are black and red. Another hard stopper for Bombers fans. But this time, they're victorious by 6 points.
Striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, up. The other teams they don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
Essendon with their 5th win of the year, and it was a thriller against West Coast. They led by 10 points at quarter time, by 22 at the half, by 15 at three-quarter time to hang on to win by 6. A game they'll remember, and the Essendon fans that have made the trek delirious with their victory. Scarves everywhere. Bombers by 6 points.
See the Bombers fly up, up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, up. The other teams they don't fear. They all try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly on.
One goal the difference. What could have been? Because it was a chance for Jake Waterman to kick his 4th when Jamie Cripps shoved over a Bomber, and from what would have been a shot from about 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle to the right became an Essendon free kick. The Bombers move up into 5th. 22 points for the season, 5 wins and 1 draw. The Eagles, despite that meritorious effort, they dropped to be 2-6 from their 8 games this season. 11-11-77 the Bombers, 11-5-71 the West Coast Eagles. The goal kickers for Essendon, Merritt with 3, Langford with 3, 2 to Wright, Singles to Durham, to Stringer and to Dersma, while for West Coast, Williams with 3, Waterman with 3. That's Jack Williams with 3. And then 2 to Jack Darling, the singles to Elliot Yeo, to Bailey J. Williams and to Campbell Chesser. Big win for the Bombers.